over to this, and hello, and welcome to this month's Vtuber Vault. For those that are new here, this is the show where I bring on friends or people that I look up to, or other VTubers that I think deserve more recognition, or any combination of the above. And thankfully, due to my poor memory, you guys get a very good explanation of people, because I wind up asking questions that I should logically already know regardless. But tonight's guest is someone that I've been friends with for a decent amount of time, Sleepy, who I will now unmute and allow to introduce herself.
Hello! Hi, I'm Sleepy. If you guys don't know me, I am the goddess of the dream world, and I'm allowed to be myself here. So I'm gonna say the whole thing. I'm the goddess of the dream world, as well as Twitch's first and foremost pegging enthusiast, and an aspiring MILF. You know, maybe one day we'll have real kids and not just Perkins. But yeah, hi guys. Hello, it's me. Hi. Welcome. Whoa! I'm gigantic.
Huh? What? Oh, what?
I clicked away for something.
Oh, you're gigantic on your VTube then.
Yeah, and then I was huge. I was large and in charge.
I was confused. I'm like, you haven't changed on my end, huh?
Oh, wonderful. It was just for a second. It was just for a second. Ah, now I'm small. Oh god. Okay, I'm gonna stop clicking stuff.
Okay, on the bright side, since I have control on my end, you're fine, so.
Oh, beautiful. So it only looks weird for me.
Yeah, so we're good to go.
You love to see it. All right. But yeah, I'm Sleepy.
It's interesting that you let off with the, well, I mean, obviously it's part of your intro, but like the pegging enthusiast thing. But earlier this week, someone else that I also follow who had their birthday had a comment regarding pegging. They had an interesting phrase of "heavy are the hips that wear the strap."
I love that. Oh my gosh.
As an avid pegger, thoughts on that phrasing?
Oh, I love that. No, that's fantastic. I mean, half the reason that I'm up in the gym for leg day is, so I got those good thrusts, get those good baby making hips, even though I can't make babies that way. But like, if I could, nobody would be safe. But like in a hot and consensual way.
May not be capable, but goddamn, we're gonna try.
Yeah, exactly. Practice makes perfect. Exactly. Oh my goodness. I hope that your people are open-minded.
I mean, we have a Teber who, especially after he was off of his meds, wound up being a very similar way, and B, a lot of our community is shared with a friend named Miral, who is, we're not a lewdtuber, a sex-positive VTuber, which,
okay.
Which do you classify yourself as, anyway?
That is a great question.
Because the way I've seen lewdtuber is, it falls under a similar region of furry where you can be into the stuff, but unless you like classify yourself as the thing, not exactly.
I mean, I think that enough people have come over me that like I can qualify myself as a lewdtuber. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Just based off of like Patreon alone, I'm pretty fucking sure. So, yeah, I guess I'm a lewdtuber. It's not like part of my branding. I don't like label any of my things lewdtuber. But that's only because I don't want to be shadow banned when I already have really abysmal reach. So that is like a real thing that's super unfortunate that sex workers in and out of the VTubing space have to worry about, even on websites that are theoretically like sex worker positive. So like, for example, I can guarantee you, all of your favorite porn stars, all of your favorite sex workers have Twitter.
Yeah.
However, Twitter 5 years ago for people in the sex worker space and Twitter today are not the same. Twitter has, strangely as time has gone on, started shoving that content further and further away and shadow banning people without real like explanation or just outright banning people. So I don't personally describe myself that way, but I would accept being described that way.
It's also not terribly consistent because like I've seen people have their mains shadow banned without having their actual lewd alts shadow banned.
Yeah, that's wild.
Like, I don't know if you follow Melissa, but she had her main shadow banned without her actual labeled as not safe for work alt shadow banned.
I don't know if I know her. Yeah, I don't know if I know her. But that's wild. Yeah, I don't have a separate Twitter, so maybe that is what makes me not quite a lewd tuber, because I just put all of my unhinged thoughts and pictures on main without a second consideration.
I mostly made an alt because I have some people that I know don't exactly want to see that stuff. So
That's fair.
Yeah.
See, I would do that, except the only people that I wouldn't want to see things that follow me on social media are my two best friends and three best friends. Sorry. 2.5. Anyways, and we have had a group chat for the last 10 years titled Adventures in Gynecology, because all that I did for years and all I still do is talk about my pussy. And so, I mean, they're not going to blush at like anything that I say or really do on any social media.
That's fair.
Yeah, it was really fun. So some people think that like this is a put on, that I'm like lewd just to like be that way or whatever. But like my best friends came on and did like a Q&A, and like I wish that I could be a really cool VTuber that like acted and like put on a character and stuff. I literally don't think that I'm capable of that. Like, I literally don't think that I could do it.
I mean, it's difficult. Like,
it's really hard because like people who do that are really serious about it. They're like really serious about it, and they don't want to break immersion. And like, I am just not. I can't. Like, my ADHD ass could never. Like, even medicated, I just don't see it. I couldn't do it.
Like, even having done shows in the past where like you're in like costume and like you aren't like just casually talking to friends, it's very difficult to not just like freaking break character accidentally.
Yeah, but like, I mean, Nasu, could you imagine just be like, "Hi, I'm Sleepy. Welcome to Sleepysplanet, a wonderful, lovely dream world." How long could I fucking hold that shit up, right? Like how many minutes before I break, before my soul just rips apart? Like, I couldn't do it. I just couldn't. Much mad respect to anybody who has that amount of energy, but I feel like putting that much energy into that is just not something I put my energy into fucking gaming.
I think that's why like a lot of people after like, I don't know how to phrase this, like first generations, where like first generation it's like, oh, we got to put on the character, we got to have this lore and the character has to follow the lore.
Yeah.
And it's evolved into people are now making their characters more based close to theirs. They have like the extravagant lore and whatnot.
Yeah.
But the personality of the character is an extension of themselves.
This is exactly what I look like in real life. The stars in my eyes and everything, exactly like this. I am this girl. Yes. Small anime girl, big booba, starry eyes, let's go.
Though, speaking of that, like, what was the process for making your character exactly?
To be completely honest with you, I never intended to be a VTuber. As a lot of people did, COVID got fucking lonely because my job in specific was not a job that you could do during COVID. I work with people on their skin, so I work in skincare, and because of my health issues, being live and in person at a job where people could definitely come in sick or with something on their clothes from encountering somebody else sick. I just have too many autoimmune issues that like I couldn't do it. And so I was lonely, and one of my friends just like drew up like a picture of effectively like me in PJs. I can send it to you real quick. Let me see. And this was just based off of like literally me. And this was Sleepy PNG. This was very first ever Sleepy. And it is a little different, but there's little things that we kept obviously throughout the entire journey. I'm sure that one is very, very easy to spot. Very easy to spot. But yeah, no, one of my friends just like randomly drew that, and I was like, I had understood what like VTubers were, and so it was like, well, maybe if I stream games, I'll make friends. Because my very best friends that I've had for a decade, the best dudes that I will ever know, straight up would die for them. We, in general, do not have the same gaming habits. One of them plays almost exclusively games like League and Apex.
Yeah, I feel you on that one.
And the other one pretty exclusively plays Warhammer games and city builders.
I gotcha.
And that was it. And I'm over here like, anyone want to hunt some dragons? And they're both like,
oh, speaking of our resident League player. Hi, Teber.
Not really. I have only ever tried League of Legends one time, and I was so confused the entire time. It was my fault because it was a part of a collab, and everybody knew that I had never played and had resigned themselves to like teaching me, and they were going to teach me until we got thrown into a game and they had to worry about all of the other things that they had to do. I totally don't blame them, but I'm probably never trying that game again.
My experience with League is I had a friend that was like, oh, hey, you want to play League? I'm going to teach you how to play it. And I'm like, okay, I'll make an account. He dropped off the face of the earth for 2 years after that. In the meantime of that, hi guys, how you doing tonight? In the meantime of that, I joined a group of other friends through RuneScape. They had one night where they decided to play League and teach a mutual friend of it.
Okay.
They didn't even get out of the teaching phase. They were still in bots, and they became the sweatiest, saltiest, yelling at each other, most toxic people I had ever seen in my life. And I'm like, I don't think I'm touching this game.
Yeah, that's kind of how like how I am. That's why. So the only FPS game that I've ever gotten into, to speak about like a similar issue, because I don't play any MOBAs whatsoever. I've never played any MOBAs. So my toxic community comparative is Overwatch. It's the only FPS game that I ever was introduced to, because when it came out, Mr. Sleepy was like, oh, well, Sleepy's never gotten to play any shooters or anything other than like Borderlands. This is probably a good entryway because it's not just about pew pew. It's about like all of these different things. And so I actually probably played like a lot of Overwatch for like the first 3 years, maybe 3 if we're being generous. I was on a team. Like I was part of an esports team. And that's where I started getting called Sleepy, because my my insomnia wasn't as well managed then, and I just kind of had to go to sleep whenever my body would allow it. And enough times to where it became my name is how many times I fell asleep and didn't make it to a practice or scrim or something.
So were you like larger groupings, or were you mostly just locals with your esports team?
Oh, no, these are just random people from the internet.
Oh, you said esports team, so I wasn't sure if you like did actual minor tournaments or anything.
Well, we did minor tournaments, but not not in college, not as part of like a college team or something. These literally, I like joined a couple of Discords for esports teams and stuff that were playing the game, and I tried them out because usually they have a system where you can like ring and stuff for teams. So if one of their players can't make it, they'll like look for ringers. And if you're in the like the right elo and you play the right characters, you could ring for them. So I like did that for probably like 6 months. And then maybe the last 3 months of that 6 months, I was mostly just ringing for this one team whose main sport wouldn't show up. And then because I was ringing so much, I just became... Actually, no, I became their flex support because I changed from being... I was initially an Ana main in Overwatch. And then I became a Lucio main. Actually, I think technically I was originally a Zarya main because I love her. Not because I like playing her, but because I love her.
I've definitely chosen characters simply because I like them. It's mostly in fighting games. Like, I'll choose characters based off of looks. Like, I chose Faust because I like his animations, and...
I like Baiken.
When
I'm thinking of fighting games and waifus. Not that Faust is a waifu, but Baiken is definitely a waifu.
The only thing I know about her is she has an absurd parry. And I have a person that I know that likes her for only 2 reasons, and it's...
One of them is not the parry.
I mean, he's a weeb and he's horny. That's the 2 reasons.
That's fair. That's me. That's me. But that's me, though. Yeah, no, I actually don't even play fighting games. Mr. Sleepy plays fighting games, but I don't play fighting games at all. But I know a lot of the characters, and I am thirsty. So I have opinions.
That's fair.
I do have opinions.
I mean, as an artist, I'm an avid supporter of like the characters for their designs if you don't like the game anyway.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. Like, there are many games that maybe I didn't enjoy the game, but like I could really appreciate like the styling of it. So I'm into that. I'm into that. I can't do art to save my life, but I am into artists. I do like to support the artists.
You have, though, mentioned Mr. Sleepy a few times. What's it like being one of the few VTubers that's, like, openly in a relationship?
It's actually really fucking funny, Nasu, because this is literally, like, everything that encapsulates the right response to this, which one? And not everybody is as like aggressive with their audience as I am, but I am. Somebody said openly live during a stream after I mentioned, I think it was almost every single night that I stream, he gets up to go to bed, usually like shortly thereafter, and I like audibly and semi-visibly, as much as a VTuber model can, like lean over and kiss him, and I say goodnight, and then I tell chat, I say, everybody say goodnight to Mr. Sleepy. And somebody who was like newish or something was just like, hey, did you know that you could probably do so much better and make so much more money if you didn't talk about your partner? And I was just like, oh, why? So that chat can think that they have a chance with me. And I just started like maniacally laughing is probably the best way to put that, because just the thought process there that clearly the only thing holding me back from fucking all of chat, from being physically and sexually available to everyone in chat, the only thing holding me back from that is my marriage.
Yeah.
Like,
it's a thing that
really, like, do they really think that they stood a chance with me? Even
it's also a thing of that they don't take into account. It's like, yes, but then you're going to be even more pissed when you find out that I am married. It's like,
well, it's not even like just that, but like it's 2024. We're an unconventionally married couple because one of us, well, both of us like women. So like Mr. Sleepy doesn't give a fuck. If look, it would never happen. My chat, as much as I love them, is a bunch of loser degens. I love my loser degens. They're loser degens. They wouldn't stand a chance. But let's just say, for the purposes, like chatter number one, if I was chatter number one and I was just like, hey, Mr. Sleepy, chatter number one actually lives like an hour away. Can I go bone down? Can I strap up and bone down? He'd be like, yeah, just turn on your location, have fun, be home for dinner. Like, it's 2024. So chat using Mr. Sleepy as an excuse for why I won't fuck them is absolute and complete hopium. Because the real reason that I won't fuck them is because they suck. I love them. I do. In a general sense, I'm very grateful to always have people to play games with when I come online and do open lobbies. Like, super grateful. I've managed to foster a really fucking weird community. And, like, in a general sense, love them. On an individual basis, tolerate them. I think that's fair. I think that pretending anything else, unless like for some reason you're just close to people because you like do hangouts with them off stream and stuff, like I think pretending anything else out of that relationship is really harmful. That's where you get into like parasocial relationships and stuff like that. So people think that I'm mean to my chat, and I am, and they love it. And also, they all know exactly where they stand with me. We can be hunting homies. We can be friends. Is Sleepy going to peg you? No, probably not. So I'm not going to be like, what if though? Like, no, there is no what if. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to perpetuate it. That's it. You can't fuck an anime girl. I'm sorry.
Which is a good way to do it. It's like,
yeah, just completely shutting it down. Works every time.
But Mr. Sleepy's like super supportive though.
Oh like, yeah, Mr. Sleepy showed chat his dick.
I remember that.
Yeah, it's really funny because he never thinks about it. But we have friends that are in a couple that we hang out with and do date nights with. And sometimes one of my friends who's just as unhinged as I am, she's like, you know, sometimes I do think about it. We just start laughing. Just because that's like things that you never really expect to be in a position for. So it's just sort of like, oh gosh. That's the kind of stuff that my real life best friends actually have to watch out for. It's not what I post on Twitter and on social media. It's what I post on Discord.
Well, that's the beauty of being unhinged everywhere. You don't have to worry about the mask slipping off if it's never on.
Yeah, exactly. That's like what I was telling you earlier, is a lot of people just expect it to be like a put on or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know why I am this way. I have asked my therapist that for years. Apparently I'm supposed to figure that shit out myself. I don't know why we pay them then, but yeah, I don't know what combination of like trauma, anxiety, and like social awkwardness turned into outgoing pegging girl, but here we fucking are.
Yeah, I mean, A mind is an enigma.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it works out sometimes, so it's all good to go.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I find really weird people, but I do find people.
Though, speaking of the online friends, like, obviously, based off of the fact that you mentioned Discord, they specifically know, how many, like, IRL people do know about, like, the VTubing and streaming thing?
Oh, so my 3 best friends do.
Mm-hmm.
They've even been on my channel with me. And then I guess my aunt and uncle, who are like my closest family members. And maybe my mom knows. I don't know. I don't talk. Mama Sleepy mostly talks to me. I don't really talk to her, if that makes sense.
I know a few friends that are like that, yeah.
Yeah, like, I just don't have anything going on in my life that she would find interesting at the moment. And so instead of arguing about how she didn't raise a nerd and I need other interests, I just sit there and listen to all of her stories because she loves to talk about herself. And I'm just like, oh, yeah. So only like a handful of people know about it. When I went back to work for the short period of time before I got really sick again, I didn't tell any of them. Fuck that. Absolutely not. But that's also because I maintain a very large following online with my work, and I don't want to cross streams, basically, if that makes sense.
Don't want to cross-contaminate and wind up having...
Yeah. So, like, I don't want to, like, oversell this. But I probably have, and I know this number because I'm about to have to move and pack all of this. I have over 1,000 beauty products.
Jesus Christ.
Yes, because that's what I do, like, for work, is I work in, you know, beauty and skincare. And then online for, I think since 2016, I've been doing content as myself, which is why we don't want to cross these streams, because that content is very family friendly. Much more. Lucrative is not the word. Marketable is probably the word. I mean, lucrative is also the word, but
advertiser friendly, to use the YouTube term.
Whereas the only sponsors that I could ever see touching me on something like this is, I joke about it all of the time, but I would kick a puppy to get a Bad Dragon sponsorship, to get like a discount code from them. I would absolutely like kick a puppy for that. And I love puppies more than anything. I love puppies more than anything. So, yeah, I would die. I would die. That being said, I've literally never read Twitch TOS, so I don't know if I could say anything about it, but I would still die.
It's in a gray area. I mean, obviously, like, Twitch does, like, allows for fansly sponsorships and whatnot.
Yeah, that's why I don't really know, and I'm illiterate.
The only thing I know for sure is that you're obviously not allowed to use it or like announce that you're using it. Like, people have... Huh?
Did you ever hear about the time that I had a really bright idea to fill space in a 1-hour ASMR team?
No.
So I don't listen to ASMR. I don't even like ASMR. But I ran out of, like, I went through and, like, I was like, all right, I'll take all of my makeup brushes and I'll, like, brush them across the mic. And that lasted me, like, I probably have, like, 50 or 60 brushes. So it lasted a while. And then I was like, okay, I can, like, type on my keyboard. And then I was like, after that, I was like, fuck, what else do people do? and I couldn't think of anything. And so I was like, okay, what do I have in this house that makes noise? And I was like going through things. And then I had the $1 million idea, Nasu. Would you like to guess what the $1 million idea was?
Some sort of vibrator, I'm assuming, based off of noise.
I was so stoked. I was like, this thing's got 12 settings. This is gonna be content. No one will know. But go figure, in the middle of an ASMR stream, when you scream and you're like, oh, I figured out what I'm gonna do. And then you like get up excitedly and you run to your bedroom and then you come back and you seem really pumped. And then that's what people hear. Apparently, while chat is dumb, they're not that dumb. I thought it was such a good idea. It was not. It then became a meme for like 6 months that I just could not, they would not let it go. They just would not let it go. Thank God that happened when less people watched me.
Oh yeah, and you didn't wind up with some rando coming in and being like, well, here's time for me to put on my big boy Twitch boots and report because I have nothing better to do with my life.
Luckily, I've only ever had 2 things come up on Twitch, which were 2 of my emotes got banned. And I didn't think one of them, here, I can show you. Let me see. One of them was that.
I assumed that was one of the ones that got hit.
Yeah, that was one of the ones that got hit. The other one is like a really random, this isn't even like personalized. It was just that.
Oh.
Just like a blanket emote that I got somewhere that I used in my channel. But these got taken down at a time where somebody might have been angry with me. So I'm not saying that's what happened, but I am saying that tons of people have that credit card emote and a lot of them still have it.
I'm not saying that it happened, but it is oddly suspicious.
Yeah. Which is weird. I literally never have problems with people, and this person didn't even really have a problem with me. I was just adjacent to it as being related to somebody else, which is like the stupidest thing ever. But yeah, out of over 500 collabs, there's only a couple of people that I would never like hang out with again, and that's not bad considering the number.
Impressive if it's over 500 collabs. Like,
yeah,
considering I've done like a quarter of that, and I got about half of those that I don't really feel the urge to ever freaking mess with again.
Yeah, that's fair. So here's my like tier list for that, basically. So out of those 500, some of them were repeats. So like some of them were, it's not 500 different people. It's probably closer to, why don't we say 100? Because I can't do math and 100 is easy. Out of that 100, I now have, I would say, 15 like good VTuber friends that I either have done collabs with consistently, or not everybody likes to do collabs, but like people that I talk to at least like a couple times a week and stuff.
Yeah.
So there's like that level of people. So these are people that like I either seek out talking to or I like seek out playing games with. And then there's like the next level of people, which are people who, if the people in the first circle are busy and I want to do something, I'll probably hit up these people first. And also, if these people ever ask me to do something with them, like, I'd show up, you know? Like, as long as I can make time for it, I'd do it. And then the third ring of people isn't even bad people. It's just people where, like, they are lower on the priority list. So, like, instead of immediately agreeing to do something with them, I will, like, have to kind of put it off a little bit. So it's like, and then there's like 3 total people that I can even think of that are on the outside of that. So like out of 100 people, 15% are phenomenal. Probably like 50% are good enough to where I would instantly do something if they asked me. And then like 3% is in the hell no pile.
That's a really good ratio, though.
Yeah, whatever the difference is between that one and the third ring, that's that number. But yeah, no, I mean, I've made like not even just good VTuber friends, but like good friends. Like I've met up with some VTuber friends. Like there's definitely like a circle of people where I don't make that distinction, you know? Like I think that's when you can really tell that you've become close with somebody, is like if you're used to referring to them as like, oh, my like band friend, or my like, I guess in this case, like VTuber friend, or like, I used to meet people playing Magic the Gathering, my magic friend. Once they no longer have the like prefix of that, once they're just your friend, that's how you know that you guys are like close and stuff, which is kind of cool. And I've definitely made a handful of those people where we're just really good friends now. I'm very grateful.
The majority of mine have been like, a lot of people seem to make friends like via collabs, but I think that the only ones that I collabed with first and became friends with is you guys from Rolling Horizon. Because everyone from Weedham Boys
at all, by the way. Sadly.
Yeah.
That did not last.
And that was actually what gave me the inspiration to freaking invite you on for this one, is because since my birthday was earlier this month, I was like, oh, right, that reminds me of last year, where I slept for 2 hours before one of our sessions.
Oh boy, I'm still doing D&D shenanigans to this day, so I hope you are too. Are you still gaming? You still rolling?
Currently I'm not in any games, but we just finished a one-shot that finished off a sort of story arc that started 3 years ago in a completely different server.
Wow. Oh, cool. Okay.
Because what I've been doing is, since I have Syncope, a lot of my games wind up actually progressing the lore of that.
Okay. Interesting. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. I've made some minor exceptions for, like, stuff that, you know, obviously would not work at all, but, like, or in order to, like, be able to reuse certain things. But,
yeah,
like, that game back then, they killed off one character that was in a war, and it led to the next 1,000 years of Syncope history having the repercussions of that, and Teber and Mark actually recently killed off the other half of that the other head of that snake, effectively.
Oh, cool. So you guys were kind of able to do it even though it wasn't like a solid continuation.
Yeah.
That's nice. Yeah, I'm only playing D&D like twice a month right now. But I always say I would love to do more, and then I'm like thinking about it, and I'm like, bitch, you have to stream every day for like forever. Win D&D, win do. How do? No time.
Teber and I have been discussing trying to get like a group together to actually like play tabletop more often, but the problem is like it's a difficulty of, well, obviously scheduling, but also like we have like one person from this friend group, one person from this friend group, one person from this friend group. Would they want to actually like, would they mesh together? Would they freaking want to convene together?
That's the hardest. Yeah, that's honestly the hardest thing. And that's something that I always encourage people. If something doesn't seem right, like if things aren't working, say something. I know it's awkward, I know it sucks, but like shoving it down and telling yourself that you're just going to like get used to it or deal with it, not good, will impact your overall enjoyment. Just not good. Like like Mr. Sleepy has like had bad D&D things where like now he has a really hard time ever like committing to play because he's just like, well, this is bad things happen.
Yeah, I have a similar thing, and actually one of the things happened just before Rolling Horizons, and I was debating if I wanted to join because there was another group that the head DM had some very choice decisions.
Okay.
They didn't have everything written down, and then they got mad at people for not knowing things and asking questions, and one point they actually gloated about kicking someone after they created their character sheet because they didn't do it quote-unquote in time.
Weird.
With a nondescript time frame.
Yeah, that's kind of sussy.
But I was like, maybe D&D's just cursed.
I've had definitely like a mixed bag. I've definitely had some like sessions where I've been like, wow, either like this DM isn't quite for me, or like this just like group isn't for me. Like I'll talk about this really quickly, and I feel so guilty about this, but I literally don't talk to anybody. This was before VTubing.
Oh,
I don't
yeah?
talk to anybody associated with this anymore, so nobody will know. But one of my friends from Overwatch was also into doing like TTRPGs and invited me to an online Star Wars TTRPG game. And I got my character ready. I had a backstory. I was fucking stoked. I only knew him. He was the only person I knew in the group. Within like 5 minutes, I couldn't do it. Like it was just, there was not a redeemable person.
That'll do it.
So it's not like that anybody was particularly bad. Nobody, it's not like that people were just spitting like racist shit, or like there was nothing wrong with how they were behaving. And also they were behaving like every caricature of a nerd and a pick-me girl that you have ever met. Like the worst caricature.
Lovely.
Of both. Like we're talking about Milady levels of like internet in this person. And then being the other woman sat there while this girl in like a child's voice is talking about how she's surprised you're here because it's usually just her and the boys. And I'm like sitting there and I'm just like, this is really unfortunate and painful. Luckily, and nobody who knows me and hears this, think too hard about this, please. But luckily, I have chronic health issues that can suddenly flare without any moment's notice, which is actually true and also incredibly convenient when you need to leave a situation.
And terribly inconvenient when it happens like it did the other week, where it happened like right before your birthday, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, but I'm, oh, fuck, actually. Ooh, I just remembered I have to take my medication. I was about to say, luckily, they've put me on medication for it. Yeah, let me, let's check. 1 second. So, like, here's irony for you, Nasu. So, like, I needed medication, this specific medication I needed because I have problems with passing out. And they gave me this medication, and I've only been on it since Monday. So I guess my body's still adjusting. But the first thing that happens is I start feeling not like faint, so not like I'm gonna pass out.
Yeah.
But incredibly dizzy, like vertigo levels of dizzy. Like even when I'm not moving, the room is moving. And apparently that's just a side effect to the medication that's supposed to make me not want to pass out. And theoretically, it is gone after a month or two. a month or two of this.
Theoretically, asterisk. Copyright, registered trademark.
Theoretically. And then, like, I can't just deal with that for the rest of my life. So does that mean that, like, if this doesn't work, I just go back to passing out? Like, what's the alternative? I don't even know. I don't even know, my dude.
It's definitely one of those things where I guess you got to figure out which the trade-off is. It's like... Yeah,
damn. This is why I can't go outside anymore. Sad. I say that like we were literally depression. What is that? Furniture shopping, because if you've ever been furniture shopping as an adult, the only emotion that can be associated with that is depression, because why the fuck is everything so expensive?
Here's a chair that'll break in the next year. How much is that? That sounds like a decent... Oh, it's $10,000.
Yeah, like, dear God. We really, 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 really desperately, at a minimum, should replace our couch and our bed. They've just both been destroyed by dogs, basically. And we've also had both for over 5 years. But we went to like a big furniture store, so it was no surprise that stuff was expensive. Then we went to a local discount furniture store, and that stuff was also still expensive. So, like, unless we're getting like shitty furniture from like IKEA or Target, like, and that shit's gonna break. Yeah. Fast. Like, how do people manage this?
I don't know.
I don't even know.
I thankfully don't have to worry about furniture, but like I need to replace my mattresses because like it's getting to the point where I'm actually having back pains, which I had yesterday severely due to it.
Yeah, our mattress is fucked up because one of our baby dog, our puppy, is a really big, like, digger and chewer. Oh boy. Yeah.
Speaking of wrecking balls, hi Rito. Are you gonna jump over here?
No.
She knows I'm staring at her, so now she's freaking questioning.
Yeah, I grabbed my dog too.
She's
only in fake life, but
yeah, it's freaking like I gotta replace that, but the mattress is like $600.
Yeah.
God forbid you try
expensive.
And go for something like ergonomic or something, and it's like.
So this is gonna sound so dumb. Mattresses for us are more expensive because of two things. One, Mr. Sleepy's a big boy. So we need something steady and also comfortable. I have such bad anxiety and such big problems sleeping that I actually cannot sleep on a like a traditional mattress because
like any movement and you're gonna wake up.
Yes. So I grew up in not a good area, and when I say that, I mean like I'm from Long Beach, California, in the era of like gang violence Long Beach.
Oh boy.
Not like gay downtown Long Beach, but like gang violence Long Beach. So like we lived in a 1-bedroom apartment, me and Mama Sleepy, for quite some time until I was like 12 or something. And I just like had to sleep in bed with her, and every time she like got up from bed, it feels like when people roll to the other side or something, it feels identical to somebody like getting up. And I always knew that her getting up was like bad, like something was like, because it's the middle of the fucking night, like.
Yeah.
So I can't sleep in normal beds. When we go to hotels, we unironically have to book double queen beds because I can't, like, I am incapable of sleeping in a regular bed with another person. Yeah. So anything that's not like that, anything that's like a foam mattress or something, is $1,000 still.
That just seems like a
Fucking
very
wild.
challenging one to find anyway, because like on one side you need something that doesn't detect like any movement at all, and then on the opposite side you have to have the level of firmness that is going to cause a lot of movement.
Yep. So it's we have to be really specific about sleeping things. Although, to be honest, now we're basically never in bed together because of my overnight schedule. But, you know, like we have the option to be in bed together for sleeping and stuff.
Stuff, asterisk.
Stuff.
This model doesn't want to wink, so.
Oh, here, I'll wink for you.
There you go.
There you go.
Though, having mentioned your illness, you also do quite a few charity streams, like at least one a year, I know, since I've known you. My
first year I went, my very first year I went fucking insane and got really burnt out because my very first year we did 4. And that is a lot because I was, while it wasn't just me streaming, it was usually 2 to 3 days of scheduled. I mean, you know this actually.
Yeah, because I was part of the one
you were
from.
Part of it, yeah. So like, I do 2 to 3 days of scheduled relay streaming, and I didn't used to have a mod team, so like, it was me making sure that everything happened and that like everybody could contact each other and that like everybody knew what the schedule was and like who was going after who and just like all of these things. All of that was me.
And like if it was someone like me that has this weird sleep schedule and it's you having to set an alarm for like 3 a.m. to be like, all right, is everyone ready? Good, okay.
Yeah, so I was able to rest, so it wasn't too bad because there were definitely blocks of time where I had people that I just like known for a while. So I was like, okay, well, like this person, I'm not even remotely worried about that. And then like they're raiding into their friend. So like I'm not worried about that either. So like for this 5 hours, I can fucking nap. And I like did those things, but also like everybody involved honestly really stepped up when there were problems, because a couple of times in different fundraisers and charity events, I have had people who, for whatever reason, whether it was just like a confusion over what time they were supposed to go on, or whether it was them forgetting or them being sick and not being able to reach out, like whatever the case may be, there've been quite a few times where people in the like small little VTuber community that I have were able to just like pick up extra streaming shifts and like cover for the person who's out, or like the person who, like, let's say that you were supposed to be on until 10 EST, and right now it's 10:06 EST, so you're like stalling until the person who's supposed to be on after you responds to you, and you're also like messaging me, and then I'm messaging them, but I'm also messaging you, but I'm also messaging other people to see who could be ready. So it was a lot of work, and I really burned myself out my first year. We did 2 last year. And this year, so far, I only have 1 planned. I always do one for Pride in June. But maybe there will be another one at some point. I don't have anything currently, but I do really love doing charity streams, even though it's a headache. At this point, in all honesty, I've made enough VTuber friends to where I'm like really not worried about like having to stay up the whole time and monitor people. Like I mean, not most of my community, I would gather that probably, I would guess that like 25 to like 50% of my community is other VTubers. And I think that 25 is definitely shooting it low. Like I think that's a low ball estimation. But yeah, just because of, again, like all of the collabs I've done, and I'm just somebody who's known for making friends and introducing people and like being friendly and stuff like that. And so, yeah, I have a lot of people that I can just rely on, luckily, for streaming things, which is nice.
You mentioned people that might like not be able to communicate or something. Have you ever had like anyone try and just like cut and run? Like, because I know that one of the things that you mentioned originally, which may be something that you may have mentioned to other people, is like, oh, it's due to all the communities that come together, it can be helpful for your growth. Has anyone like tried to come in simply for like the clout and then like ditch or anything?
I'm going to be honest, I have absolutely no idea because I don't give that literally any mind. Because here's my thought process.
Mm-hmm.
Anticipating that and looking for that in other people, you're going to find it even if it's not there.
Yeah, that's true.
I can guarantee it. Like, I can absolutely guarantee it. So, I mean, I couldn't tell you, like, my top 3 best streamer friends. I could not tell you what their like CCV is. I don't know. And it's not that I don't watch them or I don't hang out in their streams. It's that like I don't really like narrow in on that and like pay attention to it. Like when people ask me to collab with them, there is never a moment where I've ever been like, oh, well, let me go see how many followers they have, or like, let me go see like how many people watch their like shit, or like it's never been like that. And so I never assume that anybody else is like that. And then like on top of that, I really believe like, and this can be cheesy and maybe it's naive, but I believe 100% in community over competition.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we all can do better supporting one another and like cheering each other on versus being, you know, like envious that like somebody is doing better, or like, I think that, yeah, I don't know. I think it's a really easy way to be disappointed in people is to look for reasons to be disappointed.
I mean, so yeah,
while I'm sure maybe it's happened where people have been like, I'm gonna hang out with Sleepy because people watched her or whatever. Like, I don't care. I hope they do go watch you. I hope they enjoy your content. I hope you're successful. Like, what else can I say?
Like,
I wish the best for you.
You worry about the naivety in that, but like, it's the thing is if you do competition versus community, then you're going to reach stagnation. It's an issue that the artist community on YouTube had for the longest time, is that people were constantly trying to act like it's a competition. And they were like, oh, the only way that you're going to advance is if you spend $50 on my Patreon in order to get these brushes. Oh, the only way you're going to advance is if you go to this art school that I have a sponsorship with. Oh, yada, yada, yada. And it led to serious stagnation.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't think I've ever really watched like art YouTube stuff, so I wouldn't have known that.
Yeah, so it's like, even if you think that it might be like some naivety, it's a positive way to do it.
And it's sort of like, and maybe this is like a weird way to look at it, but it's sort of like I would rather give somebody the opportunity to get to know me and have them fuck it up, because that's me like living my life in a way that is like open to new experiences. Whereas I think that the alternative is, you know, being fearful when people approach you and wondering like what they want from it and what they want from you and all of these different things. And that sounds like a really shitty way to live, in all honesty. Like,
I mean, yeah, because then you overthink it, and then like you'll not do it, and then you'll be like, oh, but what if I had? Like, like that's another thing. You've mentioned anxiety, and like a lot of people that I've talked to have anxiety, and if you look at the CCV
Why I smoke
and
so much weed.
if you look at like CCV or like followers and like exclusively go based off of that, you're gonna be like, oh, they're like they get 5 more followers than me, or they've got 5 more CCV than me. They're not gonna want to, and then it's like, yeah, but if you would like talk to them, you might have like hit it off and been friends.
Yeah, I have friends literally like all over the place when it like. I don't keep track of like their numbers necessarily, but like you know when your friends are when you like have all the friends that you like have up on Twitch, and like some are at like the top of your list on the left and some are at the bottom. But like that's never deterred me from like hanging out with any of them.
Yeah.
Like I think that by limiting yourself in that way, you closing off a bunch of potential, like, really cool friendships.
And then, like, obviously, like, it's going to wind up giving a bad reputation anyway as someone that it's just, if you only go for, oh, I'm going to only do certain levels of this, then, like, it's like, well, then you're just trying to freaking be in the competition at this point. Why are you... Like, just do it as a hobby like the rest of us are. We're doing this for fun, not, you know...
Well, so I have a hot take on that a little bit. And it's because I think that content creation, and I can say this as somebody who's not just done it for VTubing, but done it in other avenues in life.
Yeah.
I think that content creation is the only job that you can have where people feel fine with demanding that you do it for free, for demanding that you do it because you love it, like for demanding that, like, just sheer enjoyment. And again, it's not even just VTubing, like that's the content creation in general. And the fact of the matter, really, art. Like the fact of the matter is this, my regular job, like you don't really do 9 to 5 as an esthetician, but like my regular fucking job, I absolutely love, is my dream job when I'm able to work. It's amazing. It's like my favorite thing. However, even with it being my favorite thing, I sure as shit would not show up and do it for free.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
And like, that's kind of, I don't want to use like really harsh phrases, but like, when I say toxic mindset, I don't mean that people who think that way are toxic. I mean that it is like a cultural phenomenon that is ingrained in us, that because most people aren't going to be able to make a living doing this, that even asking to make a living doing this, even just the assumption that you could maybe make it work, like mortally offends people. And they're just why don't you just like, why don't you just do this for like fun, dude? Like, why don't you just like do it because you love it? Like, I'm
sorry that I have to actually eat sometime this month.
Yeah, and like, again, there's obviously limits to things, and there's reasonable expectations. Like, anybody who is like on stream and like screaming at people that they're not doing enough, or like anything like spend your money supporting the people that you think need support, whatever that means to you. But like, at the end of the day, a lot of people do this job because maybe they can't do anything else. So like, I do not really consider myself like a full-time VTuber, even though I do full-time hours. But it's because I don't make full-time VTuber money. Yeah. Like, I probably honestly make far less money than anybody here thinks that I do. And that's fine. However, because of my current health climate, this is like really the only thing that I have any remarkable like skills to do. A lot of my skills don't translate to like work from home jobs. Like my main like job that I've done is in-person skincare for a while now, and so I don't have any relevant experience for any online jobs. And then
the job market itself is also not great. As someone who's been searching for a not self-employed job for 3 years.
Oh boy. Yeah, it's like the only things that I could honestly probably do, Nasu, because I don't have experience really, like outside of doing what I do, not for the last like 10, well, I mean, we're not going to count what I did in high school for work. That's not working as a waitress is wonderful, and I hope you enjoy it if you do it. But in terms of like career, I don't have any real career like stuff that I could do from home. Like I don't know anything about computers, or like I'm not particularly great at phone calls despite being really outgoing, because at a certain point in a phone call, my ADHD is just like checking out. I mean, that's been half this stream. It's me going off on tangents because I can't think straight. So like I would not do well.
Before we go on another tangent, I normally take an hour break in order to like do stretches and do bio breaks. So hourly break.
I was like, damn.
I always mispronounce. All right. Yeah, it reset you back to the middle on everything.
Oh,
and,
weird.
Like, massive.
I did not realize it was do that. Sorry about that.
Oh, that's fine. That's just how VTube is.
So weird. Yeah, I was just, I don't know. I decided not to make chicken wings and instead to make coffee. And then I decided that having coffee at 10:30 just strikes me as like a rich old widow thing to do. And this is my rich old widow robe. This is the robe of a woman who definitely killed her husband.
Definitely did not, officer.
Oh yeah, no, if they asked about it, definitely was not me. Didn't do it. Did not. Nope. You can't prove it. Whoop. That was not what I wanted to do.
Everyone's always stripping on my show.
It's not what I meant to do. I was trying to figure out I don't remember. Oh, not that one. Also not that. God damn it. All of my models have different toggles. So I'm trying to remember where my goddamn sleep mask, it's right there. All right. We're good now. Everything, don't panic.
I was about to ask while you were shifting through. I'm like, I'm not gonna have to freaking hide you for a second. There's no TOS ones on this, is there?
TOS.
Huh? You cut out for a second there?
I said, define TOS.
Like anything that I would genuinely get banned for.
No, I don't think so. The worst thing that I have on this model is this.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
But yeah, I don't have any.
I saw the leotard shift during one of them, so I wasn't sure.
Yeah, no, I don't have any like actual lewd models. I just have. This is like an attached skirt thing, so I click off and it's just the like one piece, but that is like an attachable skirt, and then obviously that, and then that, and then I also have my little blush.
Nice.
Yeah. My model mom is the best.
If you would like to shout them out, I don't know what their information is.
Oh yeah, her name is Renachi. That is how you would find her on the Bird app.
If you would like to send me the link, I can post it in chat as well.
Yeah, let me see. I'm trying to do this without being able to read right now because I don't want to put my glasses on.
Because we support artists out here.
Yeah, no, honestly, she deserves so much more hype like dead ass. So she's both the so I only recently found out that people usually have different people who do like their character design or like their character concept, and then somebody who does the actual like live 2D, and then somebody who does the like the separated art.
Yeah.
Like I guess usually those are 3 separate people. My model mom for both models that she's done so far did all 3.
Yeah.
She like designed, drew, and rigged my models. And apparently that's really rare. So she deserves so much more hype, and I like just hope that she's able to support herself and like do what she loves and all of that, you know?
I think the only other people that I know of that do that are, well, obviously me, but I've only really done that for myself. Pepper had the original concept, I did the other 2 parts of the thing. And then Dia, I think, is the only other person otherwise.
Okay. Yeah, no, I didn't know that was normally separated. I got very, very fortunate, and my model mom and I collaborate like really, really well together. And luckily, immediately after this model specifically, like 3 or 4 of my friends went and commissioned her. 2 of them have already debuted, and one of them is debuting soon. So that's exciting.
Nice.
Yeah. So I love her. She's amazing, and check her out if you're looking at VTubing. She's like way more affordable than people think. And I think that should change personally.
Yeah.
I mean, who am I to like tell you like what to charge for your stuff? But in my opinion, her stuff is probably worth like twice what she charges for it. So
I mean, how much, if you're not opposed to mentioning?
Oh yeah, no, I don't care. Both of my models together, like that's you've got to consider. So that's this obviously. So the concept, the model, the rigging for this model, as well as my other model that was here earlier. My other model also has 2 alternate hairstyles and 1 alternate outfit, as well as we have like specific, I have like my like plushie or my like pet toggles. I have my like fun surprise toggles with like with my that and stuff like that. Like it's a lot. For both models, I paid around, I want to say like $1,000.
Oh, Jesus.
Not
like
each, for like both. Now, since then, she has raised pricing. But it's still pretty low. I think most of her models, if you get her art and rig now, are somewhere between like 700 to like 1,000, depending on like what you add and shit.
Yeah.
And like, again, just based off of, in my opinion, obviously, like just based off of the quality of model that I've been able to get, like I feel incredibly fortunate. Like I'm just really grateful that we like found each other and that we've worked really well together, and any and all exposure that I can ever give her. I always tell people that like, honestly, the idea of becoming a big VTuber is like low-key horrifying. Well, so like, okay, again, as somebody who has a larger influence online as herself, the larger you are, the more people like
start to dig.
Yeah. And so like I don't want to have to deal with that again. And so I've always said like the only reason I would ever want to become like a sizable VTuber is so that hopefully people would like see any like updates that I have for my models or like any new models or anything, and they'd be like, damn, I want Sleepy's model mom. And then they'll go and they'll give her lots of money and she'll raise her prices, but like I'll still pay them because I love her even if I'm crying over it. And then like she'll just be rich and famous and able to get out of her situation
Renachi
overseas.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, I found them.
Yeah.
There we go.
So she's super amazing, super sweet, like
That
absolute doll. And she works really she works really hard. It does take a while from the time that you like start your design to when you get your design. Like she definitely works kind of slow, but like she's also a one-woman show again.
Yeah.
Like things you have to what a lot of people don't consider is that like she says she's slow, but if I were to see somebody for a character design, just getting the character design could take like a month and a half. It depends on how many times you have to like tweak things and stuff. And then like that's just the character design. Then there has to be somebody who does the art and like maybe the art person, because like I guess it depends on like how many fucking layers are going to be in your model, like because each layer is like that's a lot, like that's separate. I don't know how to say that. I'm not an art person. You're the art person. How would you explain that?
So effectively what happens is in your average model, you'll start off with the base, which this one doesn't have, but my new one will have. So you're going to have like your obvious nude doll. And then on top of that, you'll have whatever your starting outfit is, which is going to be separated for each part. So like for your current one, for example, like
it would be the bodysuit probably.
The bottom bodysuit that can be the bodysuit's going to be different. The top part is going to be separate. Depending on the modeler, those straps might even be different. Obviously,
I don't know how many layers this model has, but my other model, because I fucked with it for the first time around Christmas. And when you go in and you fuck with something in VTube Studio, you see how many layers there are.
Yeah.
I don't know what is normal for a VTuber model to have.
It depends.
But now you have to understand that I probably lost my counting spot a few times, but I counted over 300 like individual like things, and I was just like, dear fucking god.
Yeah, because a lot of it's going to wind up being doubled even, because where you'll have your forearm, your hand, which will potentially have each finger, depending on how much articulation you're doing. You'll have your upper arm.
Do people not always have all of their fingers? Wait. Do I have all of my fingers? One moment. I have all of my fingers. Wait. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I have all of my fingers. Okay, I had to answer that for myself.
I mean, you'll have all your fingers. It's just a matter of whether or not they're individually articulated or not. So that would potentially be up to 5 in that. Double that because you're going to have to separate left and right for the rigging. So that's 10 as is.
And that's just the hands.
Yep. Larger clothing pieces like the coat that you have will obviously have the 2 front sides, the back, which is normally a single piece, but sometimes maybe more, depending on how engaged it gets. Hair strands can be anywhere from 10 to 50, depending on how insane the modeler decides to be. Average model will be between 300 and 400. If you're Juniper and a masochist, up to 1,000.
Jesus.
Yeah, she had one model that was over 1,000 layers, if I remember correctly.
That's wild. That'd be like a lot of, like, either a lot of detail or a lot of, like, extras.
A bit of both.
Okay.
Like, her
That
current
makes
one
sense.
has an entire long tail that has individual legs that each freaking move.
Oh.
But yeah, some
Yeah,
models
it's
get, like,
wild.
insane with the number of layers, and that's the reason why people also have to worry about optimization, because VTube Studio will start to get a bit worried in how much it's going to have to render at a time.
Oh? I didn't know that.
Yeah. It depends on how many verts there are in each thing.
I don't know what that means.
It's vertices. So you'll have your texture, and then you have little dots and lines that run along it, and that's where it can fold or bend and whatnot.
Okay. Huh.
And if you're, only doing like a rigid leg part or something like for my cybernetics, those will like only need the outer line done because they're not going to move a lot.
Okay.
But something like hair will have, a lot. It'll have like freaking all the internal bits and whatnot, and in order for it to wiggle and whatnot, and it's gonna have a lot of movement.
I was gonna say, because there's like different parts of this that move. Yeah.
And then obviously it has to take into account for like anything that has jiggle on it. So obviously the booba, then you've got on yours specifically, like the coat also has its own jiggle.
Yeah, I see that now.
It's also why, webcam tracking tends to eat up a lot, and even more so when you have a more high fidelity model, because you'll wind up... It has to then compute your face, all your movements, and then compute manually from there also all the movements that the model's going to do, like the hair jiggle or...
Yeah. Is that the same if you use, like, I use iPhone tracking, is that, like, similarly difficult, I guess?
It's obviously less intensive because the iPhone is then taking all of the computing thing. But the iPhone's taking the computing for, like, tracking the face and keeping track of where your eyes are, your mouth is open, your smile level, and all that jazz.
Yeah.
And just telling VTube that, which is why, VTube without iPhone and with, like
webcam tracking?
Yeah. Webcam tracking specifically. If you're using a phone, normally the phone will take control of the stuff. But if you're doing webcam, it's got to do all the tracking itself.
Yeah.
And especially if you don't have certain things, it can take up to 50% of your CPU because of...
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because where iPhone is designed to do that, webcam has to interpret. It does better if you have the new GPU settings for it, because it's more used to rendering faces because of all the advances that have been made in games.
Yeah.
But if you're just using your CPU, it's got to give a basic idea of where your eyes are, basic idea of the shape of your mouth, and then guess, which is also why if you were to look down or something, even an average amount for webcam, it will not be able to see exactly where your pupil is and register that as a closed eye.
Oh. So that's, I guess, why it's so much there's just such a big difference between the two.
Mm-hmm. Because iPhone has a lot more that it's able to detect and work with. And then it becomes even more effective with VBridger.
Yeah. Although, can you just do it without VBridger? I thought that if you were using an iPhone, you had to use VBridger.
You can use iPhone without VBridger. I'm using without VBridger.
Oh.
VBridger allows for extra things because it will, where the base VTube just puts a mask over your face in order to keep track of everything.
Yeah.
VBridger actually keeps track of stuff, which is why VBridger is needed for stuff like the tongue toggle.
Oh, I didn't realize that people didn't normally get that.
Yeah, it doesn't keep track of the tongue in its base. It might also do better on keeping track of teeth with VBridger, because I think that's how most people wind up doing that. Without having, like, a specific smile level that does the teeth. Technology is interesting.
Yeah.
And you learn a lot of things, sometimes slowly, sometimes quickly, when it comes to doing it all yourself.
Yeah, honestly, I feel so bad when my other VTuber friends ask me, like, how I set things up or anything, because I'm gonna be fucking for real with you right now. My, like, secret to success is that I watched a YouTube video at one point for all of my stuff that I was supposed to set up.
Mm-hmm.
And I set it up and I haven't touched it since. In addition to that, I never update OBS. All of my friends who update OBS are like, oh no, something happened during the OBS update. That's annoying. And I'm sitting here with an unupdated OBS since like 2 years ago. And it's working fucking fine.
I've never had any problems with OBS's specific updates. It's normally Windows that decides that it wants to break stuff.
Oh.
And unfortunately, I can't skip updates on Windows.
That's fair. That is very fair.
Though, we have gone on a significant tangent since we returned.
That's
one
fair.
thing that I did one thing that I did want to touch on way back when we were talking about your charity stuff.
Yeah.
How do you go about vetting? Like, do you get approached, or do you like have a process of like deciding who you want to go through? Because obviously, in the past few years, with people becoming detectives, some charities have come out as less than reputable or outright just skipping out with the money. Like, how do you go about, deciding if something is reliable enough for you to choose?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it doesn't take much because, again, like these days, if you exist on the internet, whether you're a person, a company, like anything, people will talk about you. And there will be opinions from like all sides. So I just try to weigh things basically. And it's like, okay, I understand that like needing this amount for overhead means that only this amount of what gets donated goes to those in need. Makes sense. They're open about it, blah, blah, blah. Or like,
yeah, because you can't continue the
like
charity
that.
if the charity goes under.
Yeah. And so normally it's like pretty easy to suss things out. With the Trevor Project, I actually used to volunteer with them in college. So I worked with them when they were just a like a literal hotline.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, they were literally, that was when you could call in, and we all of the volunteers were like in like one room with cell phones that led to like hotlines, and you just you answered them, and that was that. Now you can call in, but who the fuck is doing that these days? So they also have a number that you can text, and they also have I don't know if it is, I'll have to look at it again. I don't know if it's like WhatsApp or something, but they do have like some kind of messenger thing. So you can like text them, you can messenger them, you could actually call them still. and they provide services typically for LGBTQ youth in terms of helping to prevention fluor slides in the community. So when I did things for Pride, that was pretty easily like just an organization that I've always really believed in.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just an easy choice for me year after year.
That at least makes it easy. Like, they've earned that reputation.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, again, I think it's also the nature of what they do. Like, even people who are like against queerness or whatever, like, aren't going to begrudge you like a sewer slides hotline. Like, how do you say something bad about a company where that is like, that's what the organization does? Like, so I mean, they have a good name, but I mean, it's also just like by nature of, I think, what they do. Not to discount their hard work to keep a good reputation. But yeah, I just do some like precursory snooping around basically to determine like what I think is going to be the best for whatever cause we're doing.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Since you do have a bit of a reputation of doing that, have you been like specifically approached by some? Because I know that some last year, actually, I think it was, were approached for a summer-themed charity group thing.
Yeah, they were probably approached by, God, what are those people's names? They're the people who provide
my
like
brain
video
wants,
games.
My
to
brain
kids in
keeps saying
hospitals.
Able Gamers, but I'm not entirely sure if that's the one.
Something. It's the one that provides video games to kids in hospitals.
Yeah.
That's what you're thinking of. I worked with them once, and there was no problem working with them, but there was really like no difference like working with them and agreeing to do something during like their time and doing something during my time. So like, what do I mean by that? I mean that usually the purpose of doing something like that, both for you and the organization, is that through the connection of all of the people doing this, maybe viewers who cross streams, who maybe, you know, for example, would watch you and then would watch me, depending on what our incentives are, maybe those people would be incentivized to donate more money. And so, like, you would think that that would be kind of like the approach. And if that was the approach, if they were more interconnected, if it was more of a like situation where we were like raiding into each other, which I tried to do, or I guess I should say I did on my end, but like it's one of those things where if the only people who came and who donated were already my community members who are already going to be there to donate no matter when I did it, then like, why did I do it with them? Like, does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, why?
Yeah.
Why did
like,
I let someone else dictate when it
us,
was, when there's no real advantage to doing it when I can set everything up myself?
Exactly. And like I said, it would be disadvantageous for both of us because like, again, if they're not pushing that forward and encouraging people to like raid into each other and create that like sense of community. So like, I know with obviously like a really big charity thing like Games Done Quick and stuff like that, some people do sit through like the marathons of that. Like some people really do watch from like game to game to game, and like some people do donate multiple times throughout that. Like it's just a thing that happens. But like that was not necessarily being thought of or replicated in any way. And so I really truly felt like I could have just done it when I wanted to, and like not at like a weird time for my audience, and like not associated. Like it was just weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, like love everybody who does that. If you have fun doing it, great. And for me, probably wouldn't do it again.
Fair enough. Though, you did mention that you have one coming up for Pride. What other
every year?
What other like events do you like wind up doing year to year? And do you have any like others? Obviously, you've currently got your big birthday one that you
that I accidentally
turned into a month-long subathon.
Yeah, that did happen. I have done a lot of events as a VTuber, but like I don't actually try to do that many. The only ones that I've done year over year are my Pride fundraiser. I've done that year over year. And I think Mr. Sleepy's going to bed. You going to bed?
No.
Okay, I love you. Good night.
Love you too.
So the only ones that I've done year to year is my Pride fundraiser year to year. And then I do 12 days of Sleepy Miss, which is just 12 days of collabs back to back to back to back to back.
Jesus.
Yeah. But those are the only like events that I've had consistently each year. But I have had 2 VTuber debuts, so there's also that.
Do you plan on like doing like I'm assuming that they're on like different dates and you didn't just plan it for like, oh, this is my first anniversary, time to debut the next one?
No, I basically just kind of debuted them as I got them.
I'm gonna have to fight the urge to do that once I finish my current projects.
I think I waited until if I got say like today's 2/24, I would be like in my mind I would be like, well, I don't want to do it tomorrow. I should do it this year's the leap year. I should do it on leap year. And I'd like think about that or something. To be honest, I have absolutely no idea the date that I debuted either model. I think I know, but I don't actually. I think I might have debuted this one not last Christmas, but the Christmas before, or like
yeah, I think so.
New Year. It was between Christmas and New Year's. I'm not sure which, but between Christmas and New Year's of 2022.
I remember the debut was when I was playing Generation Zero with some friends that actually have become some of my closest friends now.
Oh, nice. Yeah, sometime in the end, the very, very end of 2022. And then I guess I do think I know both of them, because then my new model is September 1st of 2023.
Nice.
So about 9 months between them. That does not mean that in another however many months from that, I will have another. Maybe eventually. Maybe eventually, but not then.
I mean, it could be worse. You could be like Dilpsy and Kraka, who both decided, oh, April 1st.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, my stream anniversary is horrid because I started streaming on Christmas because my entire family got COVID.
Oh boy.
We didn't get to go anywhere, and I didn't know what the fuck else to do. We we like watched a movie or we watched anime or something. We, like had lunch, and then we were just kind of like, well, I guess we're each gonna go to our like gaming hole. And I was like, hey, my friend drew this for me. Why don't I stream? So now my stream anniversary is forever on Christmas.
Fair enough.
It's
hey,
not
Jers,
ideal.
how you doing tonight? So like was like from what you say, VTubing was sort of like an off the cuff kind of thing. Did you have like any experience with VTubers prior, or like
So I had the only real VTuber that I like, VTubers, I guess, that I really like knew of and had watched any serious content of was I had actually followed Nanners before she was a VTuber when she was doing art and like meme song covers on YouTube like 10 years ago. So when she became a VTuber, I was like, whoa, is that? And I was like, oh shit, that is. And then the original VTuber, I-chan, obviously I've seen because like that was before even people were really like live streaming that like she was pretty, I mean, she's the first VTuber I fucking remember. So
I think she's the first a lot of people remember because like obviously she was the first one that bridged the gap between East and West on that.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, so I did not like consume a lot of like VTuber content, and I actually didn't even really consume a lot of like streamer content. I was mostly somebody who watched like YouTube videos and stuff. So even just like the streaming aspect, the only things that I'd really watch stream were things that Mr. Sleepy wanted. So like we watch Evo every year and we're on the couch and we're like rooting for people and stuff. But like other than that, before I was streaming and getting to know other streamers, like I wasn't watching live streaming. And honestly, right now, like I just watch all of my friends. Like that's just how I consume my content. I'm always lurking somewhere.
That was actually kind of my next question, like from there is like, do you like? I don't really use the word Oshi, but like, is there any like specific VTubers that you like watch currently, or like freaking like what kind of VTuber consuming do you do, or stream consuming in general do you do? Like, I know some people like have ideas and whatnot.
I have
model?
Sorry, I wasn't clicking on anything. My computer screen started going to sleep. So I don't really have like an Oshi. I've never been somebody, and I've been asked everything from like, who do you watch to like, who do you want to be like? And the answer is I just watch my friends usually, and I don't really want to be like anybody. I just kind of want to like hang out and be me. And that's not to say that I'm some like special little sunflower with like the hashtag quirky, like you're not gonna find anybody like me. I'm not like other girls. Yeah, bitch, I'm not like other girls. I'm worse. I'm so much worse than other girls. So like I don't really have that, but I do have friends that I like for specific things. If I can gush about my friends. Can I gush about my friends?
Of course.
Hey, okay. Off the rip, the original VTubing homie, my day one, the very first person that I met in this space, and we have been friends ever since. My friend Emmy is just like the coolest. Like, I don't even know how to like really explain it, but like she does all of her modeling work for all of her outfit changes, all of her animations. She has a 3D model that she's really been able to look pretty like close to live 2D in terms of quality, and that's difficult. Like, that's really difficult. And then on top of that, she is somebody that I classify as a performer. So like, I don't think I'm a performer. I think I am a solidly second monitor streamer, where you just like hang out and listen to like the stupid shit that I say. But she's like a performer. Like
What's
puts on a good
her
show.
full Twitch name?
It's Emmy the Maid now.
Because I mean, obviously ArtTuber, so freaking neuron activation there.
Yeah, no, she's amazing. Very first person that I ever
Emmy
met
with an I
in
or
this space.
MMY?
EMMI, Emmy the Maid. I think she might actually be today's Saturday. She might still be online actually.
Not currently.
But yeah, she's literally my day one. Like, absolutely can't imagine.
I'm also going to freaking put that in Twitch chat for anyone else that wants to also follow.
Yeah, so Emmy's amazing, and then basically everybody that I've met through Monster Hunter has been awesome. So there's just so many Mon Hun streamers. Like there's Tetra, there's Yura, there's Illy. We have Dea hasn't been on Mon Hun in a while. She's a Mon Hunter. Lumi, just so many really good. Black Cat, Taco if you're up really late at night. Monica, Sugar Fox, so many good Mon Hun streamers. Joanna Beans, who recently came back. Darkblade's also a good guy. Twaz is a good guy. He's not a VTuber, but he's a good guy.
I mean, I've first wound up getting into Mon Hun via a flesh tuber as well. Jitsu I met at...
Okay.
You good?
Yeah, I just have a puppy now.
I gotcha. But Jitsu I met at TwitchCon back in 2019, and he got me into Mon Hun in the first place.
Oh, cool. Yeah, no, literally everybody I've met through Monster Hunter has been awesome. Some people talk about the Monster Hunter community as a community that can be kind of backseaty, but I don't think that it's purposeful. I think that there's a lot of people in the community who watch streams and specifically go in to help out the streamer. I mean, let's be honest, the guys that are, MR999, unless they're speedrunners, they're probably just dudes that want to help a homie out.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of in between, I don't think, between that, So I've always had a really positive look at it. I've never, when people have been, kind of backseaty, I've just been oh yeah, thanks dude, forgot, whatever.
I haven't even really run into many backseaters. They go oh, did you know about this thing? And normally they're really respectful of the no backseating thing.
Yeah, and I don't even put that in my title because it doesn't even come up to me, because what I've done at this point, Nasu, is I just act like I don't know anything. And that is just that usually Coven, no. That usually is enough for them, where they'll eventually get tired of it. I'll purposefully be oh wait, I have to use my scroll wheel to change my items. Oh shit, I didn't even realize. And then I purposefully won't use my scroll wheel for the next 3 hunts. And even if it means I cart. And every time they bring it up, I'll just be oh yeah, I forgot.
I've gotten a minor reputation for being spiteful about backseating, especially after Red Faction Gorilla, where someone's it's a game, one of the old 360 games that was famous for its destructive environments. It has a weird freaking nanite rifle that you get near the end of the game that's supposed to be what you're supposed to use for very big items.
Okay.
And someone came in while I was freaking trying to blow up a bridge in the game, and they're oh, you're supposed to wait until you get the the rifle that you don't know exists yet.
Oh no!
And they're like, they outright spoiled, and I'm like, you know what? Fuck you. I'm gonna bring this thing down with a hammer.
Damn.
Spent 15 minutes getting shot at from across a bridge and pelting the thing with a hammer.
Damn. Yeah, no, I just pretend to be really dumb. That's my thing. Because eventually people get tired of it because they'll be like, I already told you this. And I'll be like, oh, did you? I must not have remembered. It must not have been important.
For me, it's like, it's when my pride shows through. It's like, oh, you think I can't do this unless I do it the way you say. I'm going to prove you wrong now. Yeah. Even if I have to do it 20 times.
That's fair. That's fair.
Also, though, I know we talked about this beforehand, but I did warn you that we were going to bring this up.
Yeah.
You did mention that beforehand. You're actually not like a veteran of it. You joined in on World, and
yeah.
Like, was it a love at first sight kind of deal, I guess?
It wasn't at first. So here's like the full story. I picked it up. It was supposed to be something I played with Mr. Sleepy.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Sleepy and I have two very different forms of ADHD. Mr. Sleepy has the form of ADHD where he gets a new game and he kills it in a weekend and then he doesn't touch it. And I have the kind of ADHD where I need to be doing something different every like 20 to 30 minutes, which is why Monster Hunter works so well because each individual hunt is only like 10 to like 20, 30 minutes at the very max. Like, and then you're still hunting monsters, but because you're like rotating what you're doing usually and stuff, like that is a great pace for me as somebody who has problems focusing even while medicated.
I have ping pong ADHD. 1 minute I can be in the mines for a month in a row while I'm working on something new. On the other side, I have to have 5 different videos running because I don't want to pay attention to any of them.
Yeah, see, I would be overstimulated by that. Like, I couldn't do it. Want to be able to focus on things, and that's what my medication helps me do. But it really helps me kind of like narrow in more. Yeah.
So have you been enjoying the resurgence since Wilds got announced?
So I'm going to be honest because lots of people have been telling me that there have been like more people, and I know there are there's been a lot of people that have like tried it that have never tried it before, and there's been a lot more eyes on World. I mean, I guess I enjoyed it. It literally changed nothing for me, really, because I have people that I can kind of always count on to show up for Monster Hunter streams. And those people showed up for Monster Hunter streams. And I don't think that there was a lot of, oh, baby girl. I don't think that there was a lot of in between. And I didn't, so I didn't really, I've streamed Monster Hunter basically, I think at least once a week, or at least on weeks that I'm streaming, since Rise came out.
Yeah, I know that you have been, like, as long as I've known you.
Yeah, which has been almost 2 years now.
Yeah.
So, like, I didn't really notice a difference, except that people talked about it more. And talked about it more in both ways, like people who were really stoked about it, and then people who like didn't play it out of spite because they didn't want to like grow only for that or something, or like be seen as somebody like trying to ride the wave or something. I didn't worry about any of that because I don't ever worry about any of that, but also like I just like Monster Hunter.
Teber and I have minorly been memeing about how we were like the reason that it started happening because after we finished Halo, we decided that we were going to start doing Mon Hun. So he got me Iceborne and we were going to go through that.
Oh, nice.
And it was right before Wilds got announced. So it was like I guess that we're gonna run with this joke now, because now, oh look, hey, here's our friend Muriel that's starting. Oh look, freaking Zen from V Shoujo's starting. Oh,
Yeah.
Merp's getting back into it. Oh, X, Y, and Z are getting into it.
Yeah, it was interesting because it really was like strangely kind of a polarizing topic of like, oh, like should I just play this for views or like is that too transparent? And I'm just like, what? Like what? I don't know. I even now that I've been trying to be more consistent with my schedule and make it more of a thing, there's just really never a point where what I want to play like is something I don't enjoy.
Yeah.
Like I've never been like, wow, I have no interest in learning Valorant, but it's one of the top streamed games on Twitch. Maybe I should learn. No, I know I'm not gonna like it. I don't want to play it. I don't care. I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna play some Monster Hunter or literally anything. First Assassin's Creed, apparently.
Like I've obviously been beating my head against the twins in Soul Level 1 Dark Souls 3 recently, and then I recently finally got around to Hollow Knight. And Twitch is like, hey, these two things, would you be interested in Elden Ring? And I'm like, hell no, I'm not spending $60 for like
Elden Ring announcement.
I'm not spending $60 on like a potential 1% viewer increase.
Yeah. I understand that. Honestly, Elden Ring was also really miserable to stream. I tried to do it. And I'm somebody who's actually like really open to like help if I ask for it, like especially mechanical things that I just might not know, like literally like you gotta go like UI stuff or like any of those like kind of tips and tricks. But when people come in and they're like, no, you just have to do this way, no, you should go here, no, you should really go here, and I'm like, my dude, I'm just like chilling and exploring. Like in Elden Ring, my like boss evolution, like the order in which I fought any bosses is I went all the way down to Castle Morn and I fought the Castle Morn boss, which is like
that's the grafted dude, right?
Grafted dude.
The one that has like all the freaking arms and whatnot on his back? That's the only castle dude I remember.
Yeah. And then I went and I ran into the creepypasta dude out of nowhere, and I had to murder the creepypasta dude.
Creepypasta dude?
Yeah, it's like an area or like a dungeon boss or something. I don't remember which one, but there's a creepypasta looking asshole.
The one with the spider in his head?
I don't remember if he had a spider in his head.
Those are the only dungeon ones I can think of.
He was literally like a shadow man. He looked like a creepypasta dude. I don't know how else to explain it.
That's the only shadow dude I can think of is the freaking spider-headed dude, so I'm guessing.
Yeah, I can't remember. It might have. Then I did the minor Erd tree that was over there. Up top there. And what did we do after that? After that, I stumbled into what was probably supposed to be the first one, which was the Wolf's Den with the gigantic rat. That was probably supposed to be the first one, but it was like our fourth one. And then the fifth one was we went and we did the dragon in the burnt ruins place. And then I got tired of people backseating and I never picked up Elden Ring again.
I've had two different instances where I've seen people drop Elden Ring. One person because it's very wishy-washy on what it tells you. Okay. Even compared to other Souls games. And then they started playing with someone else and they're enjoying it significantly more now.
Oh, good.
And Lily, who I think also had the same thing, where she got backseated to the point where she wasn't playing it anymore.
Yeah. And I have a pretty good tolerance for that usually. Like, I really, really, but it was just really bad. And
Yeah, I don't think I've run into much of anyone that's done that. I mean, obviously, freaking there's a point in time where I just start ignoring them because they're like,
yeah.
oh yeah, pick up the +7 sword of the Dick King and
Yeah.
inject it into the Death God in order to be transposed into the god of trees in order to. And it's like,
mostly people wanted to tell me where to go because I was very much, like I said, I wasn't doing things in order. I was just exploring. So I happened upon all of those bosses like accidentally. Like,
I mean, it's Elden Ring. The idea is just to explore.
Yeah. And so that was the big thing is I really hated people coming in and being like, you got to go here. And I'm like, I don't have to do shit, my dude. Like, I don't have to do shit. So that was a little, probably wouldn't do another game like that.
Yeah, it's definitely a freaking process.
Yeah. People just, I don't know. People
Some people are too excitable for it, and then just other people, like people that hop into like Undertale and Doki Doki, are just doing it because they're like, haha, this thing that was a meme for over a year, so no one doesn't know this twist. I'm going to spoil it because I'm clearly the first to do that.
Fun fact, Doki Doki Literature Club was the first game that I ever streamed. And I unironically thought that it was a dating sim and it was just being weird and like kitschy with its like warning, and I was just like, yeah, sure, whatever. And then I cried on stream. Yeah, no, and it was the worst because my very first stream ever was come hang out with me while I try to date cute girls, which my friend Emmy came in because she thought that was a pun. And then she proceeded to ask a series of questions without spoiling anything that made it very clear that I had no clue what was going on.
I think that the only... oddly enough, it was also a visual novel, but when I was doing Sound of a Drop, I cried at the end of that.
Oh, okay.
In the next to last ending that I got?
Yeah.
It's to the point where I still get that feeling in the back of my skull whenever I hear the piano version of the main theme.
Oh, God. Yeah. I recently, actually, when I first started out doing overnight streams, I, at 3 a.m., was tired of whatever it was I was doing prior to that, and I was just like, you know what? I'm going to download one of the random games that I have that I don't know anything about, but that has always looked cute. And I downloaded Ori. And
I gotcha.
I was already kind of tired because I was adjusting to my schedule.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, having whatever I was playing. I think it was an Elden Ring night, actually. Yeah, I think it was Elden Ring.
Ironic.
So I think that I was already kind of irritated. So like then I start it. And then it's just 20 minutes of me sobbing. I didn't know. Nobody told me. It's just a cute platformer. Nobody told me.
The only thing I know about Ori is that another community I'm a part of is very split on it. About 50% of them hate it.
Oh no. I actually didn't end up playing it too much because like I tried playing a little bit after like the intro, but I was still like gathering myself because I had just spent 20 minutes openly sobbing online. Which, thank fuck, this was at the very start of me trying to do nights, so there wasn't that many people there. Because, dear Lord, if I had my like Monster Hunter audience there while I was like openly sobbing, forget about it. I would never be able to forget about it.
I own Ori, actually, ironically, for the same reason I got Yakuza Kiwami, is someone's like, hey, I got this extra code, do you want it? I don't even know you. And I'm like, sure, I guess.
I am a big, I hardly ever spend money on new releases unless it's something that I like set money aside for specifically.
Mm-hmm.
So like Mr. Sleepy and I always knew that we were going to be playing Grand Blue Relink.
Mm-hmm.
And that we wanted to play together. And that we wanted to play together, like, when the game came out. And so that's something where we were able to, like, set aside money for things. But, like, I would say probably 75% of my Steam library is just shit that I got because it was on sale and I had vaguely heard of it before. Literally, that's the consideration is, have I heard of this game? Have I seen, like, one of my friends play it, even if I didn't really watch their playthrough? Do I know what this is? Does it sound familiar? If yes, and if on sale for 40% or more, perhaps buy.
My current policy is less than $10, just due to how tight money's gotten over the past year.
Yeah.
But way back when, it was a sale degree to us on it. Unfortunately, I have a lot of games that I'm probably never going to touch because they're multiplayer exclusive, because I would see something like, oh, here's the Source collection. We have Half-Life, Half-Life 2, all of that stuff with that. You can get that. But it's also bundled with everything tied to that. Counter-Strike Source, Counter-Strike Global Offensive, freaking Day of Defeat.
So you just have random things from like Humble Bundles and the like.
Yeah. So I think that one alone added 30 games to mine, and like half of those are freaking World War II Source shooters, just because there's for some reason 10 of those.
What the hell? That's weird.
But it's like just random things. It's like, okay, well, I could spend $15 to get just the things that I want, or I could spend $10 and get this other shit that I don't really care much about. I mean, I guess if I'm already freaking getting the things that I want for less.
Right? That's what makes sense.
Unfortunately, that's led to my freaking library being bloated and why the completion list exists and hasn't been touched in a year, aside from...
Oof. I'm in an attempt to do a little bit more variety and to force myself into that. I have committed to doing the ABCs this year, which I will do at least one stream of every alphabet. So like we've done literally either Monster Hunter, could be M, and then I've already done Destiny. So like Destiny covers D. Stuff like that.
Gotcha. That's an interesting way to do it.
Yeah, that's how I'm gonna like try to cross things off. And I'm not committing to finishing any of these games. I'm like committing to trying them and seeing if there's something that I want to play like more consistently.
I started mine off with I want to complete it. That's why it's called the completion list. Yeah. And then I ran into something like How to Survive 2, which has an MMO level grind, 4 levels in, on the budget of an Xbox Live Arcade game.
Oh. All right, then.
There are 4 missions you can play by the time you get to the grind. There is only one of those missions that is going to give the item you need for the grind. You get one of that item per run.
Oh,
you need 24. I dropped the game that day.
Yeah, I would too. Holy shit.
The first game was fun, and I actually enjoyed it. How to Survive 2 is a game that should have never existed.
I think that's in my library. I don't know.
If you have the first one...
I'm getting it confused with Don't Starve. Just kidding.
Oh yeah, Don't Starve is actually good. Some people don't like it. It's a survival game, but I enjoy the game. I played it with my sister a few different times.
It's easy for people who don't game much to join in on. That's what I like about it. Because I have friends of like various levels of gaming experience.
The only other game on my completion list that I've abandoned rather than finishing And this is compared to Aliens Colonial Marines, which I finished in a day. That's
Okay.
the only game that ever actively broke me, but I finished the fucking game.
Damn.
But the only other game is Fallout Tactics, which is a game
Oh.
that is so brutal and mean with its progression that even with cheats, I lost an entire squad on Mission 5.
Oh.
That's with invulnerability cheats, which, due to the way that the freaking system works, is we're going to try and heal you as fast as you're taking damage rather than actual proper invulnerability.
Oh, yeah, that's not how that works. That's not how that works at all, actually.
But yeah, that game I did get through the mission that was a slog, and then I got to the next mission and I just wasn't having fun with it. I abandoned it.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna finish this off stream because I mean I got the cheats, I might as well do it, and then I never did.
I think that sometimes it's hard to do consistent like gaming outside of stream once you've started streaming.
Yeah.
I think that it's definitely hard because either you don't want to spend more time at your computer or you're like, well, if I'm playing this, I could be playing it and talking to like friends.
Yeah.
So why don't I stream? Like I totally get that, but I think it's really, really healthy to do some gaming outside of that. So like usually a couple times a week, I just hang out with people off stream and stuff. Like we every week, Mr. Sleepy and I have a couple date night with two of my other streamer friends.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, then usually I hang out with like one or two people off stream and it's just like a thing. But I think I think it's important, but I think that doing that in that way also means that I don't really like complete things because
Yeah.
it's easier to just like pick up random things that you can do with people. You know, where that's where it gets into like Mon Hun and Lethal Company and whatever
yeah.
else people want to play.
My main break thing is like I'll take days off and like just hang out with Tepper and Sarah and whatnot, or
Yeah.
like if I have something going on currently where neither of the two things that I'm working on art I want to stream or can't stream because one of them's a pile of not safe for work commissions.
Ah.
Because apparently drawing ass once means that everyone wants to come out of the woodworks. They were waiting for it. So I within a week of drawing that had
really
4 commissions,
funny.
and I'm like, well, I'll work at these, and then I've also got at the same time to work on the new model, which I have to get done by April.
Maybe this is your new calling. Maybe you just draw ass for the rest of your life.
Honestly, fine with me, but unfortunately that means that can't be streamed on Twitch.
That's a good point. You
But-
could, I'm sure that, okay, hear me out. Hear me out. I'm sure that you could do that on like Blue Twitch.
I could do it on Picardo, which is what Crimbo does.
I have never heard of that in my life.
I found out about it when I was still following Zone regularly, who, you know, obviously famous porn artist, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But they were like, oh, hey, Picardo, I'm going to stream on here on my new thing because where I'm not going to be actually doing anything not safe work, Picardo doesn't get as anal about if I decide to watch videos at the same time.
Ah, okay.
So, Zone would have like freaking, something Star Trek. I don't remember what it was. I think it's also what Crimbo recently has been doing. I think it's Deep Space One, but
Oh,
obviously something in that gray area of is it still copyright protected?
Huh. I've never watched Star Trek, unironically.
I've watched some of it, especially when my grandfather was obsessed with the Sci-Fi Channel.
One of my best friends loves Star Trek, but I just never got into it.
It's a freaking process because
There's so much of it.
there is. Like even the shorter series have like 4 seasons a pop.
Yeah, that's
Aside
a
from the
lot.
ones
That's
that are like
intimidating.
brand new, which only have like one because they're like a year old.
Yeah. Yeah, that's intimidating. I find it difficult to get into things that late. Like, I'm very much somebody who will just be like, well, guess I missed it.
It depends. Like, if it's something like One Piece, then fuck no.
Yeah, guess I missed it.
I used to watch One Piece as a kid, but like, at this point, like, I think I watched up to episode like 160 or something like that as a kid.
That
Still puts 500 between now and then.
Yeah,
I can't do
nope,
that.
you can miss me with that. You can absolutely miss me with that.
But even like a moderately sized series, like we've been on and off watching Legend of Galactic Heroes.
Oh, I've never heard of that one.
It's a space drama that focuses a lot more. Oddly enough, its focus is so much on like the interpersonal relationships and the politics of it that the space battles are the filler.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, I've just never heard of that one.
If you want to watch like 54 episodes of only 3 people sharing the single brain cell in the galaxy, and one of them dying in season 1.
Oh no.
Then
I don't like that. I don't want to cry.
You won't cry. Like, there's a 90% chance you won't cry, because his only personality traits are he's smart and he wants to bang his best friend's sister.
Oh, yeah, I probably won't cry. That's a good shout. I probably won't cry.
Yeah, these characters don't have a lot of
Substance.
There's the main character, which his personality traits are I have the only brain cell in the first season, and I'm going to become the dictator at the end of it.
Oh boy.
There's the aforementioned guy that dies in season 1, and then there's
the sister, right?
No, the sister doesn't actually get much. Her entire plot ends after that effectively because her thing was both of the 2 main characters of the first season are pissed because she married a duke or freaking whatever early on in their life.
Instead
And
of them.
the reason they got in the military is because they tried and failed to assassinate the duke.
Oh my god.
And they're like, all right, we're going to join the military so we can get close to him.
What the fuck?
And he's like caught on camera and everything, and everyone's like, fuck it. He had the guts to try, and he got past security, so I guess that he's got some sort of tactics to him. Fuck it.
Oh my god. Unhinged. That is unhinged.
It's like, it treats itself as the most serious thing, but the stupidest stuff happens in it.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, one of the 2 main characters and like the main character of like season 2, the 2 main characters of season 2 are a dude and his governmentally issued pet teenager that has to babysit him.
The fuck?
Yeah. He actually introduces, this is my government issued pet teenager. And the teenager basically goes, I'm his fucking maid, because he can't even get out of bed on his own if I don't freaking tell him to.
Oh boy.
He's an admiral, by the way.
That sounds like a wild ride, in all honesty.
It's so funny. Oh god, my lungs.
Oh no.
Yeah, my back pains aren't completely gone from freaking the other day, but it also doesn't help that my cat, who is fat and 23 pounds, decides that she wants to lie on my chest.
I usually have 80 pounds of dog on top of me.
Yeah, but the lungs don't appreciate having 23 pounds of weight on them for 5.5 hours while they're trying to rest.
That's fair. That is fair. My dogs don't typically lie on my chest.
Yeah. Oh, God. Tangents. The stream. Oh god. Where were we before we got into Legend of the Galactic Heroes?
It's a great question.
Oh, it was Monhun, and then we got drifted into stuff that we do with friends off to the side.
Oh, yeah.
Though, we are kind of drifting into the region where, we are at 2:30, and I did say we normally reach about 3 hours. So, I'm going to move into viewer questions, because the two remaining ones on the list, we kind of already touched on. One of them relates to events that you do, and the other one is social anxiety, which we've covered, over and over again. Various different things, like, obviously, we've touched on a few different things. That, the overthinking with numbers versus, and, like, talking to people in reality versus talking to people online and whatnot. But I do have a few viewer questions that have been tossed in prior, because I do open up stuff at the beginning of each week whenever I'm doing this. If any viewers have questions, you can ask them, and I will get to them as I see them. But the first one is one that gets tossed in every week by the same person of, which Koei Tecmo game would you like to play? Which is basically the group that made Neo and the Altair series, like Ryza and whatnot.
I don't know. That's not my usual style of game. So, yeah, unfortunately I have zero answer.
I think that you might get interest out of Ryza, at the very least, due to its more open nature and obviously thighs.
I do like thighs. I do like thighs.
Neo is kind of like Japanese Dark Souls before...
Yeah, I've seen Mr. Sleepy play it.
Yeah. At one point, I'm probably going to get to it, but I freaking haven't.
Yeah. I don't have very good luck with those games. So, like, I'm coming from a place where I didn't play video games growing up. I didn't play video games until... I mean, it hasn't even been a decade for me. Like, I've only been playing video games probably since like 2017, 2018.
And then there's people like me that are probably the people that are advising you to do these things. They're like, oh yeah, I could do this easily. You should be able to do it fine. Yeah. And then they're like me, who took freaking trophies from RTS competitions when they were 10.
Yeah, no. So I do not consider myself a competent gamer. I am somebody who just enjoys gaming. But it does mean that most ARPGs that I've ever picked up go uncompleted, because if I like hit my head against a wall, I'm probably not going to come back. Like I do have an upper limit. Like, I mean, I've done whole streams where I've done like 6 or 7 hours of just Fatalis runs.
Yeah.
But like, there's just a lot that goes into more of like the ARPG style that I don't have to deal with something that's more quest based. So like, sometimes there's like basic platforming. I'm terrible at platforming because I didn't grow up playing like Mario games or like I don't know any other examples because I didn't grow up gaming, but like, because I didn't have any
flash
of that.
Game here.
Yeah, because I didn't have any of that. I'm terrible at all of it. I'm so bad. And And ARPGs tend to, at least on some level, like blend a lot of these things together.
Mhm.
Like a game that I have tried to play that I got like halfway through or something is on our PS5. Mr. Sleepy was like, well, you should at least like play Spyro. I have gotten to the part where it's the boss where you like chase him around like the castle or something. You have to like headbutt him. Yeah, you have to headbutt him. That takes a level of like control of literally just using the controller that I don't have. Like, because I didn't grow up doing it. I have tried countless hours to beat that thing. And I just, after probably spending like a weekend on it, I just never picked the game up again.
I didn't have a problem with that boss specifically because of an area like immediately before that in the way that I played, where I beat my head against a single jump where you have to use a booster, go around and up a ramp, and then jump across a freaking thing through like 3 loops.
Oh.
Like, because it starts off inside a building, so they're like archways. But because I'm a freaking addict and have to 100% games that I find it, possible mentally.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I am very much somebody who just can't play those types of games for too long.
Yeah. I need to get back to Spyro because I was on Spyro 2 and something happened IRL and I got pulled out of it and never got back to it. Story of my life, honestly.
I get that. Yeah, I other than the Monster Hunter games, until I started streaming, I unironically never finished a game. I guess that's not true. I finished Pokemon games.
I am kind of curious, though, because I've seen how insane some people's times on Monster Hunter get. Like, I don't know if you've played across multiple platforms for World, but, like, how much time do you have in World at this point?
Oh, boy. That is a question. Probably over 1,000 hours, maybe over 2,000 hours. I'm trying to think.
Because it seems like one of those games where either people have double digits or they're rivaling people that live in VRC in how many hours they have in this game.
Let me check. I do have hours on PlayStation because it came out on PlayStation first. And I don't know how many hours that is, but on Steam, only Monster Hunter World, I have actually less than I thought I did. 767 hours.
I'm also surprised. I was picturing like at least 1,300.
Well, so you have to consider, I've streamed both World and Rise. Rise I've definitely not played as much as I played World.
Yeah.
But between the two of them, I hit like 1,300 easy.
And then if you take into account like console as well, you've definitely
Yeah. Because console was the base game before the base game came out on computer and on Steam. So I played it for that, and then when it came out on Steam, obviously I replayed it, and I have replayed it many times since. I have a habit of bringing new hunters into the community and walking them through the game.
Most of the times I've seen you've been varying in different weapons. What is your like official main weapon, or do you like not have a particular main?
Oh no, I am a hard switch axe main. I am very much, I have probably spent 90% of my gaming on switch axe, but recently I was doing a hammer run with my friend Ray. I was taking her through the game, and up until this point where we're fighting like arch-tempered monsters and fatalis and stuff, I was using hammer until I was like, fuck this, I'm going back to my switch axe. We finished the base game.
Well, here we go, everyone. Everyone that knows the meme. You heard it here first. Sleepy is not Ohioan.
What?
So I've known 3 hunting horn mains. Myself,
Oh, boy.
Snuffy, and one other person, and all 3 of us are Ohioan.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm definitely not. Definitely not. But yeah, Doot Magic Flute is cool. I just never got into it. Never got into it.
I started off with longsword because obviously that's the first thing people are going to pick up, and
Yeah.
I
Weave sword.
don't remember what else I played with, but I was like, oh hey, this seems stupid and goofy, I'm gonna pick it up because, you know, in my brain I'm like, I'm already freaking hitting monsters with a weapon twice my size. Might as well go with the stupid, and then I'm like, I love this thing.
Yeah, no, Switch Axe was the first weapon that I ever picked up, and probably for until the last 2 years, it's all that I played with. Like, I didn't really try anything else. Then I started doing challenge runs where I like did like Nuzlocke basically, but for Monster Hunter. And so that had me switching out my weapon anytime I 3-carded.
Oh, gotcha.
That being said, I got cheated out of my first cart because the first like quest that I officially failed, I didn't even fail because I died to a monster. I went to roll out of its attack, and it was Val Hazak, and I rolled into the acid water when I had like 5 health.
Yeah, Tepper had a similar.
My first one.
It wasn't with Vol, it was with Glavenus, but it was Acid Glavenus. He rolled away from that, and then since he had no health, he instantly acid watered and carded.
Yeah. So that sucked.
His second card of the night. The previous one was he was like, oh, I'm playing... I think he got told to play Longsword. So he's like, okay, I'm not going to card at all. If I cart, I'll donate 5 subs. And immediately carded because
that's funny.
I forget if his controller like stuck or what, but something out of left field happened that led to it.
Yeah.
But he's like, well, a bet's a bet, I guess.
Damn.
It was funny for the wrong reasons.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes that's the best kind of funny, though.
Yeah. Though, speaking of streaming moments, what is your favorite streaming moment?
Oh, God. That's a great question. Honestly, it was probably after my first charity thing. Just because so like my timeline for streaming and when I was doing all of this was I started streaming Christmas Day of 2022. Wait, 2021. And from there, everything started happening in roughly about February. Lots of news articles coming out about all of the things that were and are still going on in the Ukraine.
Yeah.
And after literally streaming
just got informed
for
this
2
morning that
months.
it's the anniversary.
Yeah. I was gonna say, after only streaming for 2 months at that point, I decided that I was going to set up a charity stream. And I was able to organize it, and it was going to go off, and I think we raised over $1,000, like as a whole team. And like you have to consider, like this was baby Sleepy. I don't even think I had my 3D because I had a V-Roid model at one point. I think I was still my PNG. I don't even think I was my model yet. Like I did not have viewership really. And everybody that I like had join me was also of a like similar size, I think, at that point. And so like it was literally like a bunch of very small streamers, and you're able to raise over $1,000. There's that. I think that is easily like a really, really memorable one for sure.
God, that early on, that is super impressive, honestly.
And again, it wasn't even like it's not like I can even say that was my community. Like that was a bunch of communities coming together and like donating and making that all possible, which was awesome.
Yeah, but that's like one of those things that sticks with you is when you like bring a group together in order to like
Yeah. Other than that, I've just had really fun collabs and stuff. I've done a lot of really random things on stream. The most recent of which was my Monster Smasher Pass with my friend Tetra. And let's just say that she knew what she was signing up for, okay? She did know what she was signing up for. And she knew that it was going to be bad. She did not know that it was going to be spit in my pussy, great gyros. I could maybe use an ovipositor. Yeah, Namael's the best because she's RGB, she's self-lubricating, and she's electric. Like, I don't think that she quite expected all of that at once.
So is this running with base monsters, or was this taking the mods into account? Because there are certain people in my community that are very avid in reminding me of the mods.
So we were just talking about base monsters in Monster Hunter World specifically. And I had some thoughts, I had some thoughts and I had some opinions and I shared them. And obviously Tetra was horrified.
I wasn't talking about like modded monsters. I meant like taking the monster cock mods into account.
Oh, no. I mean, no, we weren't taking Monster Hunter community is wild with those mods sometimes, though.
Yeah, there was like a freaking 30-minute discussion in Murals about that because she was moderately horrified at first and then very interested.
Yeah. That's like before stream, I was like, I don't think I'm a monster fucker. And then on stream, I'm like going through these and I'm like, actually.
Yeah, that's how it goes. You start off with, oh no, I'd never do that. And they're like,
yeah.
No.
I wasn't like all the way on, I was at like mild apprehension at the most. I was like, probably not, seems like a bad idea. And then we were talking about it and I was like, nah, this would be a fine way to die.
I mean, freaking Tyr and Teber were very adamant about how when you freaking first meet Zinogre in World, how it gives you the bedroom eyes twice.
I'm gonna have to look for that next time. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna have to start another account and specifically go back and look for that.
I'm going through all of this specifically to prove a point. But we have mentioned a few times, oddly enough, several times regarding stuff like this, memes that have popped up. What is your favorite community meme? I'm pretty sure this is targeted based off of some of them that you've mentioned that you're embarrassed about, but...
My favorite community meme or the one that won't die? I guess.
Let's go with both, because it's going to be entertaining.
I think that my favorite community meme is that I created the word sharding. And that sharding is code for shaking, crying, and carting. It's the word that you use when you're doing a 7-hour stream and you keep dying to Fatalis. You're sharding.
Yeah, that checks out. I've seen how Fatalis be.
Yeah, so I think that's my favorite meme. Chat's favorite meme is probably the "Who Dogs Out" meme, which is newer. Oh god. Here, give me 1 second. I'll do this, but you never saw this.
Okay.
You never saw this. Give me 1 moment. We will we have to get... Oh no, it's gonna fuck up. It's gonna fuck up. It's gonna fuck up for you, isn't it?
I don't know. Oh,
damn.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, I was gonna say it might fuck up.
It took it a second.
Yeah.
Am I going to have to move you is the question on this.
No, I don't. Yeah, no, not if I look normal. But
No, it was mostly a question of, because in another community I'm in, dog refers to the toes, so I wasn't sure if I was going to have to move you in that regard.
No, because oh wait, that is not. Oh. One moment. What is the? What is the right? Oh God, this is what it is.
Ah.
Yeah. Arf. 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 Yeah. We also have. Oh wait, never mind. We have to. That's gonna be in front of you, not in front of me. Either way, it's mostly that. It's mostly.
Wait, what's going to be in front of me instead of you?
No, don't worry about it. It popped up, but don't worry about it.
If it popped up, then I didn't see it at all. So.
But yeah, no. So I when I collab with friends, sometimes I'll do silly things. Like I was collabing with my friend who's a dog.
Okay.
So I gave myself a dog bone. I don't have this set to a setting, but I also have a friend who is a goblin. And what did I do? I got I'm a goblin honest pin.
Yeah.
And
oh, that was glitching out a lot. It was alternating between in the middle and on you for a minute there.
Oh.
Weird.
Yeah, I have, and I'm a goblin honest, and then I should have, where the fuck is this? There it is. I have a goblin hat to go with the honest I'm a goblin. So I like to do silly things with my friends who have more like themed designs and stuff. I like to dress up like them. I think it's funny. And
who's the goblin?
Goblin Jay. Yeah, he's a good dude. He does some variety. He does, but I think he's been doing some Helldivers lately. But Jay's super cool. That's what I will say. This is actually okay. This is a real shout, guys. Hear me out. Hear me out. I would say that 99% of my VTuber friends, or like VTubers that I associate with, are women. 99%. If you are in the 1%, congratulations. you have passed the vibe check, because I do not just as like a thing. I am typically more apprehensive approaching online male friendships, even though my 3 best friends are all dudes. There is a difference between a dude that you meet in real life and a dude that you meet on the internet. There just is. I don't care that I have to say that way. It's just true.
No, I definitely hear you on that one.
Yeah, and so if there is a dude and they are associated with me, with one exception that I've made very clear, pretty good dudes, pretty good overall, on the whole. So Jay is an awesome dude.
Gonna have to send me their link later, because I can't seem to find them.
Oh yeah, I can do that. I can do that. But that's actually only one of my goblin friends. Oh. I have 2. Yeah, I have 2. Do you know Kazumi?
The name rings a bell.
Okay, yeah, because Kazumi is a goblin as well.
Goblin.
I like really off the wall concepts like that too, like goblin.
Goblin VTubers are like a web. It seems that they all seem to know each other.
I feel that way about Monster Hunter streamers.
Because I originally found Pim, I think it was, and I think I got introduced as in able to watch, not actually met.
Yeah.
Honey, who obviously is one of the bigger art tuber goblin VTubers. And then from
I
there,
don't know who
it
they are,
webs.
actually.
You said you don't know Melissa, so you might not know Phoebe either, maybe? They're
Okay.
friends. But Phoebe Bain, not D&D, but does Pathfinder videos a lot.
Okay.
But she actually just went over some changes to a recent rulebook.
I haven't played Pathfinder in a really long time.
I might get around to it sometime. It's one of those things where it's like, I just need to find a group.
Yeah, I understand that.
And I need to find a group that I'm not going to be the DM of in order to actually play.
Yeah, that's a real problem, I think, that people have. I think that's like a real... I've never faced that problem because I would not work well as a DM, but I know I have friends that are like forever DMs.
I still have a lot to learn, but I've definitely learned a lot as far as like since I've basically been the DM friend for 6 campaigns.
Yeah.
And 3 one-shots.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's a fair amount.
I want to play it though. I have so many ideas, and where it's nice to be able to like use them as NPCs, I also, you know.
Yeah, no, it's fun to be able to like flesh out a character fully and stuff on your own, and have an element of surprise in like how their stories go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
Though this might have already technically been a bit touched on, but the next question on the list is, what is the best opportunity streaming has brought to you?
I mean, just like meeting new people, in all honesty, like especially considering that I have my favorite game is in a community where no matter when I stream it, I can guarantee that I have at least like 1 or 2 other people to play with, if not a full lobby. So that's definitely like the biggest thing that it's brought to me. Yeah. Spoiler alert. I wish that the biggest thing it's brought to me was money. But that is not actual. That is not the case.
I guess that, I mean, obviously this isn't the overall goal, as much as that joke is normally, oh yeah, the overall goal is money, but like, the next question on the list kind of flows from there, is what is your overall goal with content creation?
I mean, like, here's the thing, and I kind of said it earlier to you, I think, or I said it when we were talking about my model mom, is I don't want to be like a gigantic content creator. In all honesty, like, as much as I enjoy myself here, if I continue to do these like full-time hours, basically, it's because I'm like this sounds shitty to hear, but like it's because I can't do what I want to do. So I do something that like takes my attention from that.
Yeah.
But like I don't have aspirations to be like a VTuber as like a full career. Right now it's the only way that I make any money, even though I don't make very much money. But I'm not doing that because it's my dream. I'm doing that because I have free time, and it's 2024. So having a 1-income household is fucking rough. So anything that I can do to help even a little bit, even if it's only on occasion, is like better than nothing. It's better than just sitting around and like doing nothing.
Yeah.
So yeah, my biggest aspiration, in all honesty, is that my model mom somehow like gets the exposure and the appreciation that she deserves. And if that comes through me growing, or like people seeing models that she works on for me, or like any updates that she works on for me, because I do plan on like just having her update things every so often, because I'm sure that as you work in like these different programs, you learn new things probably every time. So,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
year to year, if I just upgrade my model, you know, like once a year, it'll probably still be a pretty big difference. I imagine. So like I want to work with her ongoing and like really give her a like good and a safe life.
Because like the model before this one is scuffed as all hell, and I'll openly admit that there's gaps in it and all that other shit because I didn't even know how to cut a model by then.
Yeah.
This one is obviously, by my standards, stiff. I can compare it to like Liz, who is, I consider, not even like a full model, because she was only designed specifically for Rolling Horizons at the time, so she doesn't have...
Oh, yeah.
She doesn't have a lot of stuff, so I cut a lot of corners because I wanted to get her done within a certain time frame.
Yeah.
And like it shows significant improvement there. The Fumo model shows improvement in the spots that I did. It was a meme model that was for a goal, so it's also like got some things that aren't changed. But the real shining example of how much I've learned over the past 2 years in modeling is Teber's model. The way it flows, the way that the mouth, even on like a webcam, the way it's not like just a mouth flap like this one, even with the iPhone tracking, this one's a bit scuffed with like the way that it moves and all that is, it's shown so much, and that's why, another reason why I'm very excited for the new one I'm working on is just learn so much. And it's going to show 2 years of evolution when I freaking show that.
And that's a lot. Like, I follow a bunch of like artists and riggers and stuff on Twitter, and even just like month to month, keeping up with what they're doing. Like, there's a lot of really crazy like things that are being done.
Oh yeah, like I didn't see it like myself, obviously, because I'm seeing day to day rather than like big gaps.
Yeah.
But like, there's an artist thing, like at the end of the year, you do like your monthly show-off thing, and like I saw it from that. But another, like I'd hear from Kraka or Ovi, or like Ovi's a fantastic artist and rigger in the 68 game community, and she's someone that I look up to. Like the level of excitement and whatnot that she's had with like mentioning how much I've improved, it's like one of those things that I clip, and I have a freaking I as well as several other people like do this, but I have a private Discord where I have a specific channel in called the Feel Good Corner that I put in like things that are like milestones or like stuff that I'm proud of, and like if I'm feeling like really down, I can like look in it, and like I have certain things that are like 3 years old in there, like, and I can see like, oh, this seems like a very small thing for me now, but then I'm like, but I was so excited for that then, and then like it's a thing that shows how much I've grown over the time, and it like it works.
Yeah, no, that makes sense to me.
It's I've had some people that have taken that idea from me because it's like, oh, that's actually a really good idea, and it's like,
that's flattering.
It's honestly something that I thought like, oh, it's just something to like boost the ego back then, but it's something that I think has genuinely improved my mental health, just because I've gotten both ways that I can assist with it, and it's not just like if you have a certain way that you think about things, a compliment isn't going to like fix the thing.
Yeah, like, no, I totally get that. I'm actually the worst person in the entire world with external validation, because it just doesn't like in the nicest possible way to say this, I don't care about your opinion. About me specifically. Like, I don't care about other people's opinions regarding me, and that includes good and bad. That means that like, if you think I suck, cool. If you think I'm cool, cool. The reaction is like the same at both ends. I'm just like, I don't know, I just the levels of fucks that I give are just very low, very, very low.
Yeah, my thing on it is it's varying degrees of things. Like, it's a external validation where it's hard to explain. If there's someone that you're like super close with, it's one of those things where it winds up like, I had one friend at the time who I'm not really friends with anymore because they had a few instances of showing their true colors that I wasn't a fan of. But
not all friends are forever, and that's something that people don't realize.
Yeah.
And I think that's perfectly fine.
But they got super offended that I like was super happy when someone like Kraka like pointed out my improvement over the years or like months, and they're like, but I give you these compliments all the time, and it's like, that's part of the thing though, is you give me the compliments so often that they kind of lose their effect.
Yeah, I understand that. It's the same thing with like my partner.
Yeah,
he can't compliment me worth shit because I'm just like, oh.
Like it's not meant like derogatorily. It's just a matter of like mentally you. It's sort of like tolerance for like any other dopamine kind of thing.
I guess, yeah. Like I never really mean it in like a bad way when I tell people that I just don't care. It's just like a matter of fact, and it's mostly to keep people from like I feel like culturally we've been taught to like give people this positive reinforcement if we want them to keep doing a thing. And that's actually part of my problem is I don't like in my life, I just don't do shit I don't want to do.
Yeah.
Just straight up doesn't matter what anybody else wants me to do. You just can't make me do it. Like just straight up. And that like that's just how I am. But that's like that is my hesitation a lot of times because I'm just like, okay, so like they and it's not even that I like think too hard into it, but it is sort of like they like what prompted them to say this? Like did I seem like I needed a compliment? Like am I seeming down? Am I too like depressy? Am I like I'm just like why now? Like
it's a thing
so
that
I have a really hard time.
In the same vein, like I have to clarify when people like try and like get you to do stuff. Like I mentioned how the completion project and streaming art and whatnot is, I label it as quote-unquote peer pressure in order to actually complete stuff rather than like have a pile of unfinished projects.
Yeah. That works for so many other communities.
They misinterpret what I mean by that sometimes. Is like they think that it means I'm expecting them to tell me to do this stuff. That's not the thing. If I don't want to do the thing, I'm not going to do it regardless of how much you want to do that.
Yeah, that's like there's this whole culture of like bully the streamer and stuff like that. And I don't tolerate that. Not that like I don't tolerate bullying. I mean, I honestly, with how I present, don't think that anybody would come in and try to bully me. To be honest with my reputation, but like anytime that it's even been hinted at that anybody is like gonna try to make me do something or like even if like the vocabulary is thrown around, I just shut it down. Because while it is very popular and occasionally very profitable to be like, oh no, senpai, don't do that. oh, why are you so mean to me, showering me in bits? I'm so sad. They're hitting me. Oh, it hurts. I'm crying. I'm shaking and crying. Like there's not a fucking shot in hell that would be on my stream, because if you let people think that they can do even one thing to you, they will learn that they can like make you do something, or that, you know, like this elicits that response. I don't do it. A lot of people get bullied by their chat. I bully my chat.
I don't even think it's like that. It's like, obviously the Clippers have like made it seem like it's a bigger thing than it like is, where it's like they'll specifically choose those moments because the streamer will say something funny and blah blah that.
Yeah.
Blah, blah.
Yeah.
But normally what the actual bullying is, for those that actually like, you know, consume or part of the communities, is it's banter. It's not freaking harass the streamer. It's banter with the streamer.
Yeah, for sure. And I would do that if I was capable of letting chat think that they are anything other than a cockroach under my boot. But I'm incapable of that. Incapable.
That being said, I suppose that here's a question that hasn't actually been listed, but what's it like being an actual top amongst an entire community of bottoms?
I mean, it's definitely interesting, for sure. Yeah, it's definitely interesting for sure. I obviously get a lot of people who really like it. One of my top redeems on my channel is is to insult people. And when we say insult people, I recently told a chatter that if I was his mother after giving birth to him, I would have stapled my cunt shut so that I couldn't repeat the same mistake.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So like when we redeem that,
that's like a Sarah threat.
We really redeem that. Yeah, we so it's interesting. It's definitely interesting. I think that I do think that my general attitude towards my chat and my like very like no nonsense, like obviously we do shenanigans, we're like horny chat, we're like fine, but like my like no nonsense, I will absolutely yeet you. Like, I'm not dealing with this shit keeps my like degens on like the level of like horny but respectful, because they don't want to upset daddy.
Yeah.
So that's overall, I think, really given me a different like perspective, because while I'm sure that there's people who like quote unquote like want me ooh woo, like I'm sure that desire is also tinged with at least a little bit of fear. Pretty sure.
I mean, sometimes that's the way you gotta be.
Yeah, so it's just one of those things. But it is I do know that like I would say that the way that I treat people and the way that people around me treat people is very different. I've noticed that it is very, very different. I definitely have people on both ends where like they're like, oh, like chat, thank you for being here. I appreciate you so much. I love you guys. You guys make me so happy. You're the reason I wake up in the morning. Like I definitely have people on that side. And then there's me, and I'm like, yeah, I tolerate you guys because you come hunt with me. Like, I guess you guys are fine. Like, oh, you want me to compliment you?
You did really good on that hunting horn solo last match, random person.
Yeah, I bet that you could even take one of those Jagras all on your own. Not the great Jagras, but just like the Jagras. I bet you could really skin that thing just on your own. Yeah, I am not very complimentary typically. In like a general sense, obviously I thank people if we're doing like charity stuff and we're getting donations and stuff, or if I'm doing celebrations and like I told you I got a bunch of games. I thank people for the games and stuff, but that's like common courtesy. That's not like being especially nice. That's just like not being a piece of shit sort of thing. But yeah, I think that like I said, while I appreciate people who come in and like play games with me and stuff, and I love chat as like a whole, as like a figurative whole, I'm not really ever gonna be like, Nasu, I love especially you. Thanks for coming to all of my streams and being my #1 simp. Like I'm never gonna like.
Streamer said my
never
name.
Gonna be that's never gonna be me. That's never gonna be me. And it's fine when people do that. I'm very much like a live and let live kind of person. Like whatever you do that works for you, I support you. And also, I can't support myself doing that.
Yeah. Though, speaking of parasocialism, here's another loaded question that people love to ask whenever I give this offer up. Favorite person you've met through streaming?
Oh, God. That's actually really, really tough. I mean, my default answer is always Emmy because Emmy's my first friend, but I've already mentioned Emmy before this.
Emmy was actually the person I thought you were going to go with, considering, like, you two seem extremely close.
Yeah, I've already met Emmy. If we're gonna exclude Emmy, because I've already talked about her, I've raved about her, probably my friend Gail. Gail is actually my friend that we're doing date nights with, her and her partner, and we honestly love both of them so much, both me and Mr. Sleepy, and we're hoping to maybe like get to see them this year, next year or something. Like,
nice.
Absolutely Gail. I back Gail as somebody who is like the same amount of unhinged as I am. And she's also my V sister. She's one of my friends that went and commissioned my model mom after my model mom did my model.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, probably Gail. Gail's amazing. She and I have been getting into Destiny for the first time.
I saw that.
Yeah, that's been really exciting. Our friend Kate has been Sherpaing us. So it's been a lot of fun. We're really enjoying it.
The RuneScaper in me wants to go, damn it, why do you guys not have to deal with Osiris? On the other hand, the part of me that's not a toxic RuneScaper goes, I'm so glad that you guys aren't going to be tainted by fucking Osiris.
Yeah, I don't even know what... So...
Osiris is a 4 to 8 hour DLC campaign where you listen to people jerk off a single dude that is trapped in the Nexus.
Okay.
Who does absolutely nothing aside from, at the very end, says, what the fuck are you doing here? You're going to get yourself killed, and the only reason he even shows some of his power that he supposedly has, and isn't a fucking worthless piece of shit, is the fact that his mechanic is, I make the monster vulnerable for the final boss fight.
Oh.
It is an awful story, it is an awful campaign, and the only person that doesn't jerk off Osiris through the whole thing is told, shut the fuck up, what do you mean he's not the greatest person ever? He's like the greatest, whatever the heck the freaking light bearers are called or whatever. I think that's the name?
Light bearers? I think so. That sounds familiar.
But, oh my god. It's awful. And it was like the main campaign that made it to where the third DLC is why they added a ability to skip those past 2 DLCs.
Oh, yeah. I have so far only finished the Lightfall campaign, I think. Yeah, I think so.
Is that the actual campaign, or is that the campaign that they replaced it with, like, Final Fantasy got a Realm Reborn that remade, like, a lot of the actual main story?
That's a great question. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
I just know
that it was
that
just like one of the campaigns that I had to go through.
You were fighting the Cabal or whatever they're called, right?
Yeah, those guys.
Who was the main enemy for that? If it rings a bell, that might actually be the main story.
I'm trying to remember.
Did they destroy the giant ball at the beginning of the game?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, if they didn't destroy the giant ball, then that's a remade.
Okay,
Because the first thing that should have happened in the original starting story is the big ball gets destroyed.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, I don't remember that. I remember a dragon.
I'm not ringing any bells on a dragon, so that must.
Oh, wait, no, I think the dragon was just a raid. Yeah, my brain's so jumbled.
It's possible. I only did a couple raids because I only raided with Mark and T.
Gotcha.
Though, speaking of games, the final question on viewer questions, unless someone in chat has a question, is proudest gaming moment on stream.
Oh, getting 5 Vitalis kills in one night. Easy.
Damn.
Yeah, easy. That being said, I was running with the homies, so like, but we weren't like, that was across 6 hours probably, so it's not like we were being carried, because like if we were being carried, we would have gotten way more than that, but it was like, we just kept going at it. We like kept doing it and kept doing it and kept doing it.
With how many times you've done Fatalis, how many times have you done Fatalis solo?
That's a really great question. I've done it. I know that I've beaten him solo at least once, because the first time I ever beat him was actually solo. Because what happened was, I think I told you when we got Monster Hunter World, Mr. Sleepy and I intended to play together.
Yeah.
And then he played all of it in a weekend.
Yep.
And that left me to catch up on my own.
Yeah.
So I largely played the very first time I played it, like before I streamed it or anything. I played on my own. And then when Vitalis came out, it was the same thing. At one point, I did have a group of friends that was trying to run it, but it was very clear that they were never going to get there. So we ended up giving up as a group. And then I randomly, like a couple days later, was just like, I wonder if I can just like run it. And it's not like, I wish that I could say that I had a true Chad gamer moment and I like pulled it up and did it first shot on my own. It wasn't at all like that. It took me probably at least a couple of days and a couple of hours each day to like do it. But the very first time I ever killed him was solo. And I promised chat that we would be doing that again soon.
Nice.
So I'm going to be doing a stream until I beat Vitalis or until I drop dead and can't stream anymore.
Understandable. Though, speaking of which, and since we are about 5 minutes out from an ad break and I am out of snoozes, and we've run over time that I did promise you, and you did say that you wanted to eat and do some other things before your stream, because you've also got birthday stuff, because you've got a lot of time on that.
I do. Oh, God. Yeah. So I'm going to be grand bluing it up tonight.
So I think you said that you were going to actually be a bit late, so I'm not going to be able to raid directly into you.
No. Yeah, no. I'm going to be... I'm probably going to take my dog out and then maybe take a shower and then eat. Like, I've got a whole thing ahead of me.
All right. So we're going to close down then. Did you want to say anything before you headed off then?
No, just thanks for having me, and I'm going to go walk my doggo.
All right.
Goodbye, guys. I'm going to drop Nasu. Thank you for having me. And
all right. Thank you for joining and making this possible.
Yeah. All right. I'll see you later. Bye.
Bye. And for those that are unfamiliar with Sleepy that have joined, I have dropped all of her socials in the description below. Or not, the chat. I'm talking like I'm talking to YouTube already. I'll do my YouTube outro now. Those that are on YouTube, thank you all so much for watching, and thank you guys for actually waiting for like all of these to come out and for supporting me throughout the years as well, and for actually keeping interested in the Artist Archives that evolved into the VTuber Vaults. So, for editing me, this is going to be the outro. Thank you all so much for watching. Like if you liked, subscribe to become part of the Phoenix Brotherhood, and as usual, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!